through unforgiving lands, across the impossible expanse. A mirage calls, a distant oasis. We chase what most consider myth. Pursue an obsession. That's what pushes us to greatness. The Oasis. It's real. The 400i by Origin Jumpworks.
And good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome back to the Soul Citizens. I am GriffinGamingRPG, and we are back after a very extensive, long weekend of so many cool things to talk about. And today we are here to talk about CitizenCon 2951 with a great crew of people. We've got 6 of us here, 6 times the fun, and an hour and a half late. But we appreciate you guys being here. We had some technical issues tonight, so we truly appreciate those of you who saw us on Twitter or kept checking back or just kind of hung around the channel and talked. Happy to be there. Pars, good to see. Hey, good to see you. Griff is my dad. Oh my God. It's good to see you.
We got another one?
Yeah, I know.
Do worse.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. I probably could do worse. You're right. But no, thank you all for being here tonight. Let me introduce this great cast of people that we have here. Let's start off at the top with the man himself, the man who, the name I always loved, Dark Knight 75. What's up, my brother?
Hey, what's up? What's going on? I'm doing okay over here.
Good.
Enjoying the weekend was wonderful. We'll talk more about that. And my first CitizenCon, couldn't ask for more.
Really? Oh, this was your first one?
This was the first one.
Oh,
yep.
Dude. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
So we got a lots to go on. I got tons of stuff I got out of it.
Pardon the old man being blind. What's the picture behind you? I can't see it.
300i.
Oh, 300i.
I didn't get the video for the 400 yet.
Oh, okay. Okay. You're working on it. Okay. Okay. Cool.
That's because
cool.
it was in stealth mode, invisible.
Cool. Cool.
Yep.
All right. All right. Oh, there it is. Oh,
okay.
Nice. Okay.
Got a looping going on back there.
Love that. Love that. All right. Yes. And next to him, the man with the plan from the ATL. He's got that serious ride behind him. That for some reason,
400i, man.
I was gonna say, but it reminds me of the 400i. I was just about to say that, dude. That's like some stealing for the 400i must have come from that. The man himself, Gomab. What's happening, my brother? What's happening?
Oh man, we good, man. Glad to be here. You know,
good.
Lots of fantastic stuff to talk about. You know, lots of good news this weekend.
Yeah, I'm glad you're on, dude. Because we got to talk about that G12 Vulcan, and I don't know nothing. I'm ignorant, so I am so glad you are here because my brain is fried, so I'm glad you're here. Thanks for dropping in for us tonight. Let's see. Let me drop down to the far left there on my side. That would be, or to my right, would be the man himself, Fastcart FC, the ambassador of Star Citizens. How are you?
I'm all right. Griffin, do I have time to go to the bathroom? No, I'm kidding.
Oh, listen. Sure, Fastcart. I mean, we're already late. Feel free. Go ahead. You know, another 5 minutes won't hurt.
You had 90 minutes to use the bathroom.
No, I wouldn't say that to you. Trust me. After all this time, 5 minutes is not going to make a difference at this point. And let me skip over one box over to good friend, guy that we don't see enough of out here because he's always working and making his millions. The man himself, who is our veteran, who's been in this whole development crowdfunding longer than any of the Soul Citizens. The man himself, Younique, who is dressed to the nines in his CIG gear tonight. What's up, man?
Oh, not much. Sorry, I was way past my bedtime after this late start. But you know,
oh no, we got to make sure we make it worth your while then tonight.
yeah, let's have some wild discussions.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right,
yeah.
awesome. And last but not least, the man who has become such a great friend to the Soul Citizens. He's become a good friend. He always keeps us high energy and laughing. Got to introduce this guy from Black Sky Legion, Kaizen. What's up, man? He's gone. He left.
Bienvenidos. No, am I not here?
You're here.
What's going on?
Yeah, yeah.
Bienvenidos a Black Sky Legion y Soul Citizen. Mucho gusto, gente.
Great. Well, we are happy to have you back again, man. You're starting to rack up. You're going to be up like with Paul Shelley with return visits and stuff to the show. I think between Paul and maybe what's the name? Fastcart. No. Buster's doesn't even have as many. I think Shiver might be. It's between him and Paul, who probably have the two most visits so far. Yeah.
I gotta try to get on the best Star Citizen show as much as possible.
Oh, that's so sweet of you to say. So nice of you to say. Fastcart must have told you he's paying you for being here tonight, so that's okay if that's what he told you. That's fine.
How am I going to pay someone else that I'm not getting paid?
Well, that's true.
So wait for that check.
Jack, I'm still waiting for that check. I told you that earlier today.
It's gonna be a long wait, long wait. Okay. Well, anyway, listen, we are going to jump into it because our viewers have been already waiting. And like you said, Kai, the good thing is that it is for many people, at least in the States, it's a holiday tomorrow. So for those of you who can hang, that's great. For those of you who obviously have to leave because we understand Monday's a work day, thank you for hanging out for us as long as you can. Let's see who we got here. Lady Raincloud followed us tonight, which is great. So I don't know if you're still here, but if you are, thank you. And if not, we're sending our love anyway. Thank you for following us tonight. Okay, let's just jump into it. CitizenCon 2951. Did everybody get to watch it first off? At least once. Yep. At least once.
Yeah.
Did anybody get to watch it more than once?
Oh,
bits and pieces.
Okay, all right. I got like 2 episodes in out of 7. I'm still behind.
I only watched the
I did too.
Yeah. There's going to be some stuff that's going to it's going to take some time to digest because there was a lot of information. Fastcart and I were on, and by the way, you all, Fastcart and I were on with Paul Shelley earlier today. Many of you all know that the Astropub is doing a 24-hour charity stream for Doctors Without Borders, and we were there this afternoon with Space Tomato. Had a really, really great time with him. And so when we leave here tonight, we're probably going to bounce you guys in his direction so you guys can send some love to him because he is on hour 12, 13, 14 hours and 40 minutes right now. And he's going all the way till 6 a.m. tomorrow. So try to hang in with us. And if you can, when we send you over there, send some love to him. And if you're interested in donating to Doctors Without Borders, we really want to encourage you to do that because they're a great organization. But in the meantime, we were there today talking about what our feelings were about CitizenCon 2951. Let me go around the clock real quick and ask everybody. And I know this is kind of a hard thing to respond when I ask this question, but my question is going to be from 1 to 10. From 1 to 10, how would you rate this particular CitizenCon 2951? Now, you could do it based upon it as a standalone, or you could do it based upon what you've seen previously from previous recordings or previous experiences. So Dark Knight, I'm going to start out with you. What would you give it from 1 to 10? 10 being the really great, super great, 1 being
I'm not giving it a 10.
Okay.
And the reason I'm not giving it a 10 is because I haven't experienced what a full CitizenCon really would have been like if I was there in person and know what it was like. I only know from other videos, and that experience is different than what we experienced in a virtual CitizenCon. So I'll give it like an 8. It was very well done. It was very well produced. There were some issues, little things in there that I was like, yeah. But overall, I would have given it about an 8. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Gomab.
Solid 6.5.
Okay. 6.5. Solid 6.5. Okay. FC. 7. Kai.
I gotta agree with my man DK. I think that was somewhere between an 8 and a 9, so I'll give it 8.5.
Okay. And Younique.
7.5. I don't know. It felt to me, it felt like it was some live stuff, but cutting to some pre-recorded stuff. I think a lot of people wouldn't have noticed, but they
Mm-hmm.
can call me a liar, but I'm pretty sure I detected that.
No. You're absolutely right. Most of the all of the sessions were definitely pre-recorded. Disco was live. Commercials ran live. I don't know if Chris's part was live, but they did confirm that they were pre-recording most of the sessions that were there. So you hit it right on the mark.
I mean, it's only smart.
Even some of the segments that, sorry.
No, sorry.
Even some of the segments that Disco did was pre-recorded too, especially that when they had the image pop up or whatever, that was pre-recorded.
30K.
Okay.
Yeah, I would have preferred Disco hosted the thing and then went to the clips and like he was hosted it live and jumped to the. I think that would have been better production value wise.
Wow, Big Black Gaming. Hang on a second. Big Black Gaming, thank you so much for those bits. We really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Go ahead, Festy. What were you saying?
Thank you, Big Black.
Yeah. What were you saying, FC?
BBG. Right
Younique, I understand what you're saying, but I think Disco will be first to tell you that there's some people in the community, I think that there's too much Disco going around, so he probably wanted to step back a bit.
Yeah.
Really?
But the thing is, for CitizenCon, that is usually the time where he and Tyler, even if it was just the other community people too, right? Because they usually trade off between different community folks, and we didn't get that. Yeah, we didn't get that this year.
He'd be the first one to say that some people are tired of
yeah.
Yeah, but it could have been anybody or a set of people doing the live stream and just introducing the things and the continuity between them.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that.
The questions he was taking then would have fit in better. Again, it's just from a production value.
Yeah.
It was still high quality. Just to me, it would have added another 1.5 to it or something.
Yeah. That's an interesting thing, because one of the things that I mentioned on Paul's show that was missing, and obviously there's no control over it, and you know this, Younique, when you go to a convention, the other 50% of it is convention, right? It's connecting with people. And so when everything's kind of pre-recorded, like you said, you don't get that interaction dynamic, and it's hard enough to do it on a screen. So I didn't even think about that, but normally we would have seen from the other community folks, blah, 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 blah. They would have moved the camera around, and it may have been nice.
Too. I never typed in the one thing. It's like, why are you people asking questions to pre-recorded sessions?
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I didn't type it. I didn't type it.
Yeah, that's true, because people did do that. You're right.
I was ready to drop that.
I read on Spectrum.
To be fair, Disco did respond to some of the.
No, but he's talking about people were actually asking questions of Todd Pappy on screen. Yeah. We say,
I was reading on Spectrum that people were like, "Man, that is a really long Inside Star Citizen."
Oh my God, are you serious?
Yes.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. Wow. Okay. All right. Well, we got ratings from everybody. Let's go ahead and kick off and start talking about this very first opening. Thanks again, everybody who just arrived. We ran a little late because we had technical difficulties, but we really appreciate you all being here. Thank you so much for being here with us. Let's start off with the.
Raytheon just said it was a really long ISC.
Oh, really long ISC, yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and start talking a little bit about what we saw. As you guys know, Chris did his intro. It was only a 5-minute intro. It seemed like it was pre-recorded because they were really they had this time schedule of what they were trying to do. So we didn't get the normal thing where Chris comes out, does a lot of talking, maybe goes a little bit over what's going to happen for the day, goes through what we would consider like that first big presentation. And then usually at the end, he wraps up with a second half. A lot of it was just strictly based around the sessions this year, which was something that DK for you was definitely different, because this was not the normal, even though the sessions were a part of the format, Chris's part was definitely totally changed this year. Okay. Definitely totally changed. So let's take a look at the first session. Now, what I'm going to do, folks, is that we're not going to play any of it. We're just going to talk about it because everybody saw it. And I just want to get different people on the panel's feelings about what they did see. One of the first things I do want to focus on, in fact, I'm not going to show this thing. I'm going to show part of the very first session, which was Life in the Verse. I want to show this one. And I want to get you guys feedback on really this opening that came up. They did this whole thing with showing us the new entrance into a wormhole or black hole, not black hole, but wormhole or gateway, whatever the case may be. When we left in 2019, they had a gate that we passed through for Pyro. They spent a lot of time at the beginning of the session talking about this new way of getting in. One way that will be well protected via UEE, and another way that you could enter in where criminals and stuff could possibly come in through a different way. What did you guys think about what you saw? You talk about graphics. I'm gonna start with you, Younique. You talk about graphics. You could talk about, you know, the change from last time, or maybe what you heard was being shared, or anything with this particular session.
So the thing that got me was that the jump holes are organic. They produced them. They're not man-made, so they're manifesting themselves naturally in space. So that already opens the door to, hey, one just showed up and you're jumping out to one of the new solar systems that, as they build them and drop them into the game, so it doesn't have to be built by any sort of beings. So I like that a lot.
Okay, yeah.
And they look gorgeous.
Yeah, it did. It did, yeah. DK, let me jump to you. What do you think about this?
I agree with Younique on that too. That was one of the things that made sense to me than having this artificial jump gate that they had at the first one. I don't know if I can't remember exactly how it was built, but it looks like those ring gates that they had floating out into the clouds there that looked destroyed. It looked like those were the ones originally that they had planned to use. But I like the organic look of it. I mean, it looks fantastic. It is just the cloud tech itself. Wow. I mean, it's just beautiful.
Okay. Let's jump a little bit ahead here. Gomab, we're looking at right now. I'm gonna jump to you. These are some of those stations that they talked about that we're going to be stumbling into in Pyro. I think one of them might have been even Ruin Station, but they were talking about how explorable these places will be when we come into those areas. Any thoughts on what you saw in Life in the Verse?
Yeah, I like the bespoke exteriors of these stations, right? As opposed to kind of the stations that we currently have in Stanton.
Going in and out.
No, he's coming through clear for me.
No.
Go ahead.
Dang it, Fastcart. I was on a roll.
Now I got to start over again. Yeah, go ahead.
But no, you know, they're all different. They all have their own unique characteristics based upon where they're at, who's settled upon them, what they were doing, what they were used for before they were abandoned and then reclaimed. So I appreciate the variety that they're adding into the game, as opposed to the current. You know, the current ones kind of have some variety, but when you get in, I wonder once you get into these stations, will they maintain that variety, as opposed to now where all of the stations kind of look exactly the same with boxes just rearranged in different ways.
Interesting. Okay.
But I do remember, you know, they did talk about, you know, these different stations where, you know, some of them have rain in them based upon the heat,
right?
Using heaters and the heat rising and creating condensation, you know, close to the top. So no, I you know, can appreciate that.
Okay. Kai, I'm gonna jump to you. They're showing us in this video right now. They were giving us some of the terrains that we're going to be looking forward to in Pyro. Anything impress you about that? Was it the stations? Was it the cloud tech? Was it the wormhole? What got you?
All of it. So the cloud tech was amazing. It was next level. It was way beyond what we have right now in Crusader. Then they showed like moss on the rocks. They showed different types of plant, like different types of vegetation. They showed different types of rocks growing off of the like valleys and hills and whatnot. Just all of it looked amazing. I was crazy psyched for all of that.
Okay. FC, what about you? Life in the Verse. Anything else stick out with you? And I know we're going to talk about it a little bit later. We'll get into the demo that they showed, but anything in particular with Life in the Verse?
There was so much detail on the planet Nebula, and I like how they were showing some of how they create nebulas, or how they change them around and stuff like that for the game. Yeah, they really look beautiful. And the cloud tech, I gotta agree, look beautiful. I'm really looking forward to seeing them in the game.
Yeah, I was definitely impressed with what we saw. And I think we had all kind of agreed that we would probably see some elements of Pyro, because we know that that's where, you know, we're about to leap off. I think the whole thing even began with them saying we've been spending all this time in our lives in Stanton, and it's now time to start looking to move forward. I agree with you. You know, I grew up in high school at the DK. I read a book that was called Stargate, And I was always impressed by it. It was one of my first introductions to this dimensional jumping. And so I was actually in 2019 excited when I saw the gate, because that's the first thing that popped in my mind was the old Stargate. And for those of you who've played Eve, you're used to jumping, jump the gates. It was interesting to see them spin this into a whole different thing. I thought that wormhole, whatever it is, it was beautiful. The layering in it in the nebula. I mean, this took that, what we saw with the coil previously, you can see that they've just enhanced it even more. And I'm also looking at not just the graphics dynamic. I'm gonna go Gomab a little bit here, because I agree with him on this part, that when things are in the game, they should be meaningful. And I'm hoping that going into those areas are meaningful. Because I remember they talked about how when you face the one that's leading into Stanton, that you get a more smooth and nice looking kind of thing. But when you're going to go toward Pyro, it looks a little bit more menacing and more ominous, And not only that, I hope that there's some dynamic effects when you're, when you're having to travel through them, and then later on with other nebulas, whether there's some other things that happen, ion storm, whatever it is. I don't know all the science, but I'm hoping that, radars, scanners get affected and all types of things, that they're not just these great eye candy pieces. And CIG has kind of told us that will be where they're going to go with this stuff. So it's great to see it, but I can't wait to see how it impacts us in the verse when we're doing this stuff.
I feel like
I will say.
Kai.
I just feel like that was a reoccurring theme, that every aspect of them discussing Pyro, from the sort of PvE aspect to the PvP aspect of don't expect the cops to save you, to the natural aspect, to the way that the nebula is formed. Every last part of Pyro is, watch your back because it's not safe.
But they also put a safeguard in where it's not like as soon as you come through the gate, you got to worry about getting blown up, right? They talked about the fact that there'll be a dynamic there. But it does also mean that you only got a certain amount, you got to plan, when you go in, because that safety net is only going to be there for a certain amount of time. And after that, you're on your own. So I do like the fact that they are doing something like that, because they do need to make sure that, as soon as you come through a gate, nobody wants to come through a gate. Now here's boom, and that's it. Or your ship is disabled immediately. What they're going to create, we'll see. But I was really excited by it. I love the terrain stuff, the stuff we're seeing on screen right now. Just amazing to see how, and for those of you who remember back in the first days when we set foot on Daymar at 5 frames a second, and there were no hills or nothing, just rocks on the ground, and that funky little orange plant that looks like a weird Venus flytrap, that was it. And now we're starting to see a lot of the tech that's been presented over the last few months from ISC, particularly with the mountains, ridges, canyons, all that cool stuff. And something else I was truly impressed with, and we'll talk about it when we get into the demo. Did you all notice that the sky was blue with clouds? That was so cool.
Sure did.
So like you said, the cloud tech, like you said, that has kind of stepped up its game. Going through this canyon piece right here. This stuff is just really, really great. Let's go ahead, Matt.
The one thing about the cloud tech piece, I heard a rumor that if you slow it down and play it backwards, you hear the screams of 20 series NVIDIA cards all crying out in despair because they're all going to die.
Only the NVIDIA cards, the AMD cards are fine. Right?
Does anybody have AMD cards?
Bro,
oh my God.
I play New World. I'm not afraid.
Oh my God.
I play New World. I'm not afraid.
That's true. If you can make it through New World, you'll be all right. Yeah.
Right. So you probably the 20 series is that's I'm not even talking about the 10 series.
Hey Griff, I want you to think about the organic Stargates now. Just from the possibility of the gameplay, since they came into creation organically, they could also leave anytime organically. There's also you can't control them as a player.
That's right. That's right.
So
that's right.
You can fight for the area, but you can't electronically take over or build one yourself. So they might come in and out of existence like some sort of pulsar kind of thing. I mean, this opens a lot of different things in gameplay.
Absolutely.
And timing and planning 100%. And logistics.
If
they use
that
it
in Eve.
We talked about that. Remember in Eve? But I mean, when you think about the fact, and not to mention, there's several things to Younique's point. For those of us who are into the exploration, right, the cartography and stuff, being able to chart this stuff, staying on top of it. If you're doing it for your org, when you stumble across one that wasn't there last week, right? I'm wondering what type of tools they'll give us. Maybe they'll give us tools, Younique, that allow us to, when we scan it, we can start to see that it's becoming unstable, right? And instability means that you probably got about 1 or 2 days before the sucker might disappear. I remember
I think they just gave us a reason for the Endeavor.
There you go.
Or a gold rush.
Right. Absolutely. But listen, I'm gonna tell you something that was painful. If you ever went through a wormhole in Eve or something, and that sucker disappeared, and you were way out in yonder, dude, the worst. That was
like that's like that episode of TNG when the Ferengi and the shuttle crew would go into the unstable wormhole, and the Ferengi got left behind.
K-space is a thing, and you might miss it.
Yeah. Okay, on the screen right now, I want to go to this because this is going to lead into us talking about the demo. We've been seeing this for months too. We've been seeing this thing with homesteads, housing. We've talked about, the idea of whether there'll be things such as farming, people being able to live. And we know that they're starting out with NPCs in the beginning. Did this get anybody's, churn going when they saw this stuff? Or was it like, it's just more homestead stuff? Or
oh God, no. That was the most, don't get me wrong. The new ships were hype. The new plants and the new mountain formations and the new clouds were hype. But the part of, we're going to show you HABs, and oh, by the way, this isn't a dev tool. This is what you can use to, and they even said it with a wink, be your own pioneer and build your own bases. This was the single biggest hype of the entire CitizenCon for me. This was legit. This was too damn hype. Okay. DK, what about you? What do you think about this whole thing with the homesteads and what was leading up into the demo?
I was sitting there thinking about it. We were talking about it. I was like, I see my rug going here. I'm going to put some, get my fire pit over there and all that kind of stuff. But no, it looked pretty, the tech that's coming along to put this kind of stuff together, what they were showing about putting the different parts and how they all intertwine together, and you can vary, different variations of each of those parts can come up with different different building types. I thought that was really cool because it does take that little bit of a procedural aspect to it, but also put it into with some handcrafted beauty. And I thought all of those, all of that tech, and having it possibly be at our fingertips to use to build out our own town, or our homestead, that'd be awesome. That'd be phenomenal. Okay, it takes it to a new level. Okay.
Oh man, let me ask you, because I don't think I've ever asked you this question. Where do you plan to live? Are you the type of person who's going to be like, nah, dude, I'm not going to deal with any building my own thing or my org. I'm going to be more like, my house is going to be at, New Babbage up in one of the highlight, the lofts up there, right? I'm just going to pay my rent and be cool. Or are you going to say, no, maybe I'll do both. I have my little summer home somewhere, and then I also have my little penthouse on Horizon. Where's your head at when it comes to this whole homesteads, and once players can get into it? What's your thoughts on it?
Actually, it's probably going to be 3 places, right?
Okay.
So I'm probably going to have a city spot.
Okay.
Probably
someplace where the club is, where you can go to the club and stuff, right?
Well, no, just someplace where I can easily get to the shops and and to get to what I need to get to quit my fleet. I'm probably going to have something on a planet. My org, we do have land claims.
Okay.
We do plan on leveraging those across multiple systems that are in UEE space.
Gotcha.
I think my main place of residence is actually going to be on a large ship. Notably, probably the Endeavor.
Wow. Okay.
So either Endeavor or on my org's Javelin. This all depends, right?
Wow.
But it's probably going to be, we're going to, if these large ships are persistent in the universe, right, and don't despawn, you can always log into them. But let's say they stay wherever they're at when you log out. We'll jump someplace, drop out of quantum halfway there, turn, jump, and power for 30 minutes in a direction where nobody else will come across us, and that'll be where my endeavor is, just floating out in deep space. Right? That'll be my home.
Okay.
And if you're in my group, you can find me. But if you're not, good luck.
Okay, you're gonna be living large. Okay, all right. I thought you were gonna be more the laid back, just have my space and that's it. But you've got a whole real estate deal going on. All right, cool. Let's see, FC, your thoughts.
On the homestead stuff?
Yeah, homestead stuff. Yeah. I mean, I know we're leading up to the demo, but yeah, any thoughts on that?
Right. My first thought was you better keep Colossal away from the fire pit because that's just trouble just waiting to happen. My second thought was, the homestead stuff. Griffin will love this, and I enjoyed it too. Like I'm not really into the whole base building thing. Like I've been playing No Man's Sky, and I suck at base building, but it's cool. But it's not really something that I'm really deep into. But,
well, even if you don't build one, will you have one made for yourself? Are you thinking about maybe living somewhere? You hire somebody and they'll build a place for you, like out in the woods, someplace secluded, nobody's there, or you're going to pretty much stay in populated areas?
Somewhere down the line, but I'll probably be staying on my ship or someplace like a condo on Terra or something like that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, for some people, they say they're going to stay on the ship.
Come use our Pioneer. You can use our Pioneer, man. We'll build you something.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Younique, how about you, man?
Oh, I just loved it. I was wondering if my Pioneer will be able to make all of those particular modules. So, if Fastcart does need a place, we'll just roll out and build. So
they say all you got to do is bring the materials, Fastcart. They'll slap it together for you. You don't have to worry about it. Yeah, that's cool. Listen, this is IO Spartan 1117. Sorry, we didn't have our thing activated for some reason, but Whammer says thank you. Yeah, Whammer says thanks for the follow. We appreciate that. Thank you for the follow. Yeah, I was pretty impressed with that. Let's go ahead and follow the video a little bit more because there's a little bit. I know there's a lot we're going to want to talk about this, even though there was other stuff, but I want to jump into this. Not the 400i. That's not really what I'm going to focus on. We'll do that on Ship Talk. But what I will talk about is they gave us this whole thing of a mission. Wow. Thank you for the subscription too, Spartan. Thank you. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Absolutely. Yeah.
Thanks for the subscription.
Okay. Thank you. So let's talk a little bit about this. Usually when this has been done in the past, DK, just so you know, in case you don't know, usually they'll show the first half of this at the beginning and then they kind of close us out afterward. But in this one, it was kind of the same thing, but just two different scenarios of the same thing. So let me go back and start with GomabATL this time. This whole thing of mission, because last time we saw a mission GomabATL, remember we were at Microtech at New Babbage and they did the little stealth thing, right? And a lot of people kind of felt like, it seems like it was a little choreographed a little bit more. But this one, it seemed like this one was kind of definitely like, we saw AI really actively responding, a whole bunch of other stuff. And some of the new tools were put in here too, obviously, new location, all this other stuff. So give me your feedback on what you saw in the demo.
It's cool. I love the dynamic nature of it, right? Depending on how you approach it is how the mission will go. You can go in and, you can and try to buy your way in or talk your way into getting it. If you have a high enough rep, then they won't just be hostile to you when you first step foot. If you don't have the rep, then they might, shoot on sight. So you have no other choice but to try to sneak in and steal it, or bring a few of your buddies, have them come in with an A2 first and, soften them up a bit.
Yeah. Okay.
Go in blazing. So I like the dynamic nature of it.
Okay.
Can't wait.
Younique, what about you? What you saw as far as all this stuff now we're looking at? Any thoughts on it?
Oh, I liked it. The quality of the scene is pretty amazing. There's a lot of stuff in there that's possibly interactable. You can probably also pick up other stuff. Again, your amount of time in there would depend on your reputation, which I like too. So if you're a stone cold criminal, you just have a dance party in there and just pick up everything. But if you're the, top ace in the UEE, then you might have to, like you said, soften them up a bunch before rolling in there. So I like the 3 different scenes that they did and showing you, you had different alternatives and all the different routes. That was great. So, each person can just play and have a story unto themselves, even though it's the same mission. That's what I like. So I think everybody's storybook about recapping the same mission would be different between all of us,
Right. I don't know if that was, is it Mask or Mask? I don't want to say your name wrong, but thank you so much for the follow. We appreciate you stopping by tonight.
Follow.
Thank you so much. You know, one of the things I liked about it, Younique, was that, and this is always the difficult thing to do. How do you create an environment for something to happen and try to stay away from it as being as linear as possible? You know what I mean? Like this, if you got to do this one path, right? And if you don't do this one path, something goes wrong. And I like the fact that, like you said, you can come in guns blazing, you can come in and be stealthy, depending on reputation. You know, a whole lot of factors can be determined. How about this? And I'll throw this over to Kai Zen. Kai, you being a former military person, what happens when you show up at a place and you ain't brought the right stuff with you? This new inventory thing, right? You know, they were doing some stuff where, remember at one point they used the tractor beam gun to move some boxes so they could stack. What happens when you didn't bring that tractor beam gun? Is your path more difficult maybe because you didn't bring the right tool for the right job?
Not only that, but you have the concept of 2 is 1 and 1 is none. If you don't have a backup, then you're not prepared for shit in situ. And the fact of the matter is if you fail, like, no one plans to fail, but most people fail to plan. So if you don't have your stuff right and you're not ready to execute on the mission, then you're just ass out, and that's on you. Like, you have a responsibility to make sure that you plan not only for everything to go right, but you plan for everything to go wrong, and you can still execute the mission.
Okay, I like that. I like that. Good Fastcart.
Can I just say that this escalated way too quickly? Like, they're just having a disagreement on the price of this artifact. This AI wanted 15 million, and then he just started going gun blazing all over the place. It showed everybody up in that stuff. That was just way too much.
That was beautiful, where he's like, "I've decided not to pay the price," and then he just pulls out a weapon and shoots the guy in the head. I was like, "Yo, that went from nothing to
Well, admittedly, that was for demonstration purposes, right? I mean, because who knows how long that would have gone on. But I think they wanted to be able to show us the interactions, right, and being able to do something. I know for me,
that was like Detroit level.
Oh, absolutely. Oh no, this was straight. That was straight GTA 5 stuff. I'm not gonna argue that point with you, okay?
Will Smith said, "No plan B distracts from plan A."
Yeah. Now, there was something that did happen that I did appreciate, and they talked about this a little bit during their discussion about the environment. And I didn't think about this because I know we had been questioning a few weeks ago. There was a sneak peek, and it was one of those bags on the ground that was filled with some type of grain or seed or something.
Oh yeah,
and we were talking about it. And the subject came up, and we all kind of laughed about it because we were kind of like, you know, man, the 29th century, man, everybody's going to use these bags. They're going to be using some type of this or this. And true, that's what we were thinking. But then I went back later, and I didn't have this discussion before we saw this because I thought about it. And I thought about evolving or emerging worlds. And that even though technology may exist, there are some worlds, and I'm thinking about a lot of the old Star Trek episodes I saw, where there were cultures that rejected technology moving at a certain pace, maybe because they were a little bit behind. They may have been much more of an agricultural, place where there was only certain technologies they embraced. Other ones they stayed away from. You know, some places were like almost Amish to a certain degree, right? Even though technology existed. And remember in Star Trek, there was always a thing about making sure that they didn't introduce things into cultures too quickly, too soon, right? The things had to naturally evolve, the Prime Directive, they had to evolve organically, even though what we may be doing may be helpful. They may be using a candle. We may be able to say, hey, here's a light that never runs out. But that gap in between can create some real issues, right? And so the good thing about that idea for me is that when CIG is developing all of these different systems, and as they expand out, that gives them the liberty to create everything from the most primitive cultures to the most advanced cultures. And then how we adapt when we go into those cultures. How do we deal with things? If you land on a planet in your freaking glorious spaceship and they ain't never seen a spaceship before, or the ones they have seen is not as nice as yours, yours is nicer than theirs, and they say, ooh, we want that. There's all types of cool stuff that can come out of this in the sense of where these different cultures are, in the sense of technology, how they live, and all that other cool stuff. So I like the fact that this kind of had that throwback a little bit, almost like a Firefly kind of thing. When they went to this place, to me, it kind of had that feeling, and it kind of even reminded me of like Star Wars, right? When you go back in Star Wars, you know,
that like Tatooine, you go to Tatooine,
you
that looks like a little bit of a historic, but it's future. It's that mismatch.
Yeah,
like some things are robotics, and some things are computers, and some things are holograms, and some things are it's magic.
Look at it this way: they rode into town in a hover car, and then there were people riding beasts at the same time, right? You've got those two things in the same space, right? So there's a lot of cool stuff that, to me, it just makes the lore is already great, but it also allows for me to just say, wow, think about all the range that they have now, so that my mind doesn't have to stay locked in 2950, you know what I'm saying, or whatever year it is, but that my mind can allow me to go into a planet that looks like, man, this place looks like it's more like, 2423, you know what I mean? And I can rationalize it in my head in some form, because I was having a little difficulty with that.
Well, let me ask you this, Griff, because you're talking about time leaps, right? So we got a long period of time here. This is the future, and but then you got elements that come from the past. Okay, and so why do elements from the past show up in this future like that? So, and I'll give you the perfect example. There's a saying out there that says, "It's better than sliced bread."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You've heard that saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But in reality, there's absolutely nothing better than sliced bread. and I'll prove that to you right now. And just with Star Citizen, when you go there, look in the shops, pick up a sandwich, guess what the sandwiches got on it? There's sandwiches between sliced bread. Some things have reached the end of their technology development, and they just carry on from that point.
And I also point out,
you're going to see sliced bread forever.
Still, right? Still going to be bread, right? Yeah. Okay.
If you want sandwich, there's no high tech to do a sandwich. You're already there. And they'll call the people who did sliced bread cavemen. But guess what? You're eating a sandwich.
I don't know, those pita pockets, man.
There you go. Yeah, step over to the pita. Yeah, that's it.
Meat into it.
He said pita's pita. Yeah, he says pita is pita.
It's sliced.
I know.
Yeah, Kai, what were you going to say?
Let me also point out, as a recon Marine, when you talk about, oh, look, those are sacks. Why do they have sacks holding stuff? There is a advantage to the fewer moving parts you have, the less things that can screw you in the field. So when you say like, hey, why do you have a sack holding stuff? Because it works. Yeah. And it can't, a sack's not going to break. A sack's not going to well, this failed. The technology failed. It works all the time. You can get an EMP field. You can have this. You can have that. A sack just works because it's a sack. It's simple and it works.
Yeah,
so it's out of the category of
simplicity. That's it. Yeah, simplicity. Sometimes there is no replacement for simplicity. And again, like I said, there will be some places where you will see the electronic containers or the levitating thing, right? But then there's also those places where you'll see that sack, right? That sack that's sitting there, that leather bag or whatever it is, and from the space cow, right? There'll be something out there.
Just works.
Yeah.
That's what's great about it.
Just works.
Yeah. So listen, as much as I love this and we could talk about it more, we're going to move on because we still have 6 other sessions to talk about. So let's go ahead and get past this one. And hopefully I got these queued up right. Do I have these queued up right? Yeah, I think I do. Okay. The next one is on the Ship Talk. Right? Am I mistaken?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was great.
And so I think I have some pictures. Oh, okay. He's got a phone call.
Oh, it's ready? The paint job's done? All right, well, just pull the whip into the garage. All right, I'll turn on the camera and make sure you don't scratch it. Thanks.
Oh Lord. All right, let's talk about
got their 400.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So let's go back and this is just running the commercial again. Let's start with Kai on this one. Kai, 400i, the mystery ship that was not supposed to exist. We saw 404 invisible. What were your feelings when you saw this pop up? Any thoughts about it? If you flew it yet, and you talk about that even.
It was all kinds of sexy. You're talking about luxury, explorer with the built-in motorcycle in the front and an infinity pool up top. That is all of the yes. And it looks like the ships from the Phantom Menace when we saw the trailer before we knew that the Phantom Menace was going to suck, and we saw those awesome ships. It's just yes all of the yes.
Interesting. Okay. Fastcart?
I really like the interior of it, and I was considering it. I gave it a lot of thought, but I'm gonna pass on it for now. I'm gonna get some cheap CCUs, some Warbond CCUs, so in case I want to save $30 for later, I can do that. But yeah, for now I might just get it. I'll probably just get it in the PU because I already have an Aquila, and the Aquila has a Ursa Rover and a Snub Fighter already. So
Thanks for the follow.
Okay, so Fastcart, have you had a chance to see the interior yet of it?
I mean, I saw some videos on YouTube and the TikTok.
Okay, but you haven't been on. That's right, because you haven't been in PTU yet. That's right. I'm sorry, I forgot you haven't been in PTU yet. Okay. DK.
You already know what I'm gonna say.
No, I have no idea. I have no idea what you're going to. Would you like to tell me? Would you like to tell me what you're going to say?
Hashtag Origin for Life.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna be like, oh God, I love the ship. I do love the ship. Oh my God, I love the ship. It's freaking beautiful. It's exactly what I was looking for. The 300 was just a little bit too small for for just my daily use. The MSR is the MSR. I love the MSR, but I don't need that during the everyday. It's just a perfect fit. It just is, and every time we use it, it just gets better and better and better. I just find it's right now. It's very slow though. I got a gripe on that one. We can talk about that later if you wanted to. And it's got a little bit of problems with maneuverability, but I think all of that's bugs, and I think it's just stuff that they're going to work out. But overall, just like that ship is sexy. Yeah. And I did get that gold. That not the gold one. I got the Meridian paint. The one that looks like the one on the Naboo fight. On the Naboo. Yeah. Oh man, that thing looks slick. Okay. That's all I got. That thing is slick.
All right. Okay. Gomab, go to you.
Well, you see, I got mine back here. My 400i.
For people who don't know, what is
painted like mine?
Yeah. And so that is this is the quintessential 400i to me. It is a Chrysler Prowler.
I love the Prowler.
It was supposed to be a hot rod. It's supposed to be fast. It's supposed to be fancy. It's supposed to be everything to save the Chrysler brand. And it was a dud. Now, you will see some on the road, about 8 of them still, because people just love
That's
the
right.
vehicle.
If they got one, they love them. Yep.
They loved it. They loved what it looks like. They don't care to the fact that it had the worst V6 engine ever put into a vehicle, and it got to 0 to 60 in about an hour.
It should have been a V8. Yep.
Yeah, it should have been a V8. It should have been a lot of stuff.
Right. But it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful car.
It is an attractive vehicle, definitely. Just like the 400i. Here's the thing. I can't get over the nose on the 400i. I just don't. My lizard brain just can't. It served no engineering purpose, and so they had to be like, well, I guess we'll stick a bike in there. And so, and they even said that on the ship talk, right? They were like, yeah, we're trying to find a place. I guess we'll stick it up its nose and make it a little wider. I guess I don't know. It's to me, I was excited about it. I'm sure there's a lot of people that really like anything Origin puts out and will buy it. I don't see that ship doing anything better than any other ship.
I don't think it's supposed to. I don't think it's supposed to.
Well, Dark Knight, before you answer him, I have to say this. I agreed with GoMab for one of these times. I actually, without an Origin product, I did kind of agree with him, but he just made the X1 spot sound like a booger now, so I'm not so sure I'm getting along with it. I'm just joking. I'm just joking because you made it sound like he just stuck a booger up his nose to put the bike in there. That's what I'm talking about. So that's why I was laughing.
Where's the bike?
Listen, I just said you made it sound like a booger, but I get it. Okay.
I can put that bike in. I can put that bike comfortably in the back of my MSR. Okay, along with a rock.
Okay, wait. Okay, now I got to establish something because I'm going to go where DK is going to go. First off, I agree with you. I told you there's something about that design I didn't like. It was a steal from the old 100i, and I don't know why they decided to keep that. Now, maybe to Kai's point, maybe that Star Wars influence of those TIE fighters is what messed with them. I honestly think when you look at the design of all the other 600 ships, that nose makes no sense. That's what I say. I wish they would have mirrored more of the
kids. They got kids.
Well, I'm saying, yeah, there you go. You're very funny. Okay. See, I wanted them to mirror the 890s front more. That would have been a little bit better, because then it would have carried on through the theme of their stuff. And this theme has a slightly different look. But let me say this about Origin owners. This is the thing that I still say some people don't get about Origin owners. Anybody who knows anybody who owns a yacht knows people who own yachts. They don't own yachts because they make sense. They don't. They guzzle gas. They're expensive to run. They're nothing but throwing your money into the furnace. That's all they are. But you know what? People love them. And these are the people who've made millions of dollars who love them. And so when people try to equate Origin ships to the, and I get what you're saying, GomAB. Now, I'm not saying it shouldn't be functional, because I agree with you 100% there. But I'm saying there's some of the frivolousness that's there that we just like. And it's like we're even willing to say, yeah, it is like that, but you know what? I still love the thing. You know, I mean, it's just kind of how we are when it comes to Origin ships. You are much more succinct, functional. You want everything to make sense, and I agree. I'm nothing against that, because I have other ships that are like that. But these ships, I know. Trust me, dude. I told you when I bought my 600i, I bought the 600i and hadn't even seen the freaking interior. I saw the thing fly in the promo, and I said, that's it, I want it. Whatever it is, I want it. I don't even know what it looks like inside. It had nothing to do with components, space, allocation, storage. I didn't even know what it was. I was sitting at freaking VerseCon, and I bought the ship right there and hadn't even seen the specs on it. Some of us are psycho like that. That's all I'm telling you, brother. Some of us are crazy, and that's all it comes down to.
From my perspective, I am someone that walked away from buying my dream BMW and walked over to the Ford dealership and bought a new pickup truck. Because I was like, why am I buying this BMW when I could spend the same amount of money, and get just as much luxury in here,
and get all the bang for the buck. Yeah,
I also have a bed where I can carry stuff where I need to go. When I need to go there.
There you go.
So that's just how I look at it. Everything's got to have a purpose other than.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Because if you have a bunch of us,
I always have friends. I got friends that drive Bentleys. So if I need to ride, I can jump in somebody else's car. So I know people with 890s. So I'll be in your 890. I'll be able to ride in the 890 whenever I want. I just ain't paying for it.
Wait, so you're saying whoa. I gotta respond to something in the chat. Spartan 890 owners could care less about the Banu Merchantman. Okay, I just want to establish that. The Banu Merchantman doesn't even cross our minds. We love the Banu Merchantman. We love it. We love it. We love it. But see, that's the issue. People don't understand. Origin owners don't care.
Yeah,
they don't. They don't care.
Throw in there.
Hold on. Can I point out a use case that might at least share some light on this? Shed some light on this. So we're talking about 3.15 is the patch that brings in survival. This is a patch where you got to have multiple of your outfits in your shit, because if you get blown up, that's gone.
Right.
And I'm thinking for 220, because it's 220, to have a luxury home that I can not load up with cargo per se, but load up with 10 of every outfit and gun that I use and 100 of every magazine that I use, right? So that I use this. This is my murder hobo RV, where I travel in style and go wherever I need to go with my stuff. And then just once I land there, take one set of outfit, one set of gun, multiple guns, one set of medical stuffs, 10 magazines, and roll. This to me seems like with large shields, right? So like it ain't easy to kill, and you travel in like I live out of this. I travel in luxury. I can't afford a 600i, but yo, I'm rocking this infinity pool like it ain't nothing. You got a pool table? That's nice. I got an infinity pool, and if you squint, I can pretend I'm in an 890. I'm enjoying my life right now.
Gomab, what's the car that James Bond drove in? What was his not a Maserati?
Aston Martin.
Aston Martin. So this is your Aston Martin, basically, right? It's this luxury that's loaded, right? Okay, maybe so. Maybe so. Hey, don't get me wrong. I'm not supposed to say this now. Gomab, again, I agree with you 100%. We're always joking around about it, but again, I do have to emphasize this fact that I think sometimes Origin owners, people, and I get it because, and I still wrestle with this thing, and I want to get off the ship either so we can get to the next ship. I think that people still wrestle with this thing because I think that there are a lot of players, when they hear about luxury being in a game, I don't know any other game that has a career called luxury. And so I think that because it's something different, and sometimes people say, how in the heck is this going to work in a game? What's that got to do with anything? I think some people do struggle with the fact that there's a manufacturer that focuses in on luxury and exploration becomes secondary, except for on this ship. This ship, they specified they want this to be much more about exploration, but it also has nice touches to it. So I get it. Trust me. Like, we give Drake a hard time, right? You know, but
it seems like exploration is the catch-all for ships that really don't have a purpose. Like, it can go far.
Well, maybe there may be people who say that, but look at it this way. It's got something that a lot of the other ships don't have. Only one other ship has it that we've seen, and it's cartography. None of the other exploration ships have one. Aquila doesn't have one. Only the Carrack has one. And so I'm saying it can have its place. I thought this was going to be a different ship. We talked about this today, that there may be another Origin ship down the road that we're hoping for, the 500.
600 have it? The 600 have it too, don't it?
Nope.
Cartography?
Nope.
No, it doesn't? Okay.
It's got the ball, navigation ball, but it doesn't have the cartography thing. Okay. But it doesn't have the cartography thing.
This is the only ship in the game that has cartography and an infinity pool. Just saying.
The word infinity pool. There's no pool on this ship.
There is. The top deck is a pool. I swear to God. Take a look at that video again, my friend.
No, Kai. Kai, no.
Wait. Hold on. This is being recorded. This is going out for posterity.
All right.
We're going to talk about this later. There is a pool in this game.
Jacuzzi or something, isn't it?
For realsies.
Okay.
There's a pool.
Oh, you say jacuzzi? Okay.
I'm going to go back and.
There's a pool.
Are you saying on the 400i?
On the 400i, there is a pool on the second floor. I swear. Go back and watch.
Wait a minute, Rufus says there is a pool.
That was the one that was shown. That was shown in the. They showed it in the video on.
Yes.
Where?
They showed it in the video, and CitizenCon is one of the concepts.
Where?
Because they were going to put it where the cartography was, and they switched that out and put the cartography table there. It was a drawing that they had shown at one point in time. I don't know where it was in that ship talk though. I can't remember where it was. It was even sketched.
Okay, well, hang on. Ruthless says Ruthless says there's a pool. Spartan says there's a pool.
There's a pool. I swear they said it. It was a whole big deal.
You guys are scaring me to death if there's a pool, because I walked all through that ship and didn't see squat.
Bro,
I didn't see a pool.
That's interesting. All right, I got something to do when the show is over with. All right, cool. No problem. I'm going to look and see. I'll take a look and see.
Here's the deal, y'all 890 owners. We got a new ship in town, and now the Mexican can swim. We got pools in the 400.
So silly. You're so silly. All right, let's go on to the next ship. All right. Boom.
Is he mistaking a bathtub for a pool?
No, I don't know of anything on there. There's a bathroom. I'm going to look at it later on. Gomab, let's talk about the Liberator, Anvil. Some people were hoping for an Anvil capital ship. Paul Shelley has been saying on his show for quite a while, we need some type of carrier, pocket carrier, something that can move ships around so that they can make these long journeys and not have to worry about fuel, blah, 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 blah. What do you think about this particular thing that got introduced yesterday?
As we are inching closer towards, Nyx and Pyro and Jump Point, and having to really think about, how the hell am I going to get my ship there and back? They kind of had to have something like this in the game. Now, I will plug that there's a post on Spectrum right now that put out a fantastic idea about this ship that I think everyone should think about, right? This ship has a flat bottom, and for 90% of its life is going to be spacefaring. Why can't we attach ships to the bottom of this as a carrier? Why are we only dealing in two-dimensional space here? when we're talking about this is a space game. There's no such thing as up in space.
Mm-hmm. So you said if they did a mirror underneath, you'd have instead of
not
three,
even a mirror.
No. I'm saying instead of like 3 fighters on top, you'd actually carry 6. You could carry 6 if you ran 3 underneath the bottom.
Yeah.
It would expand the versatility of it even more.
It would expand the versatility.
Just buy 2. That'll solve the problem.
Yeah. Hey, let me hold something. Let me hold something fast, Carl. Let me get a couple $500 from you.
No, that's interesting because when it needs to land, of course, you wouldn't have those 3 underneath. But well, in those times where you're going, like you said, or even if you're just going into orbit somewhere, then they detach and go down to the planet or the moon, right?
Yeah.
It would.
Or just landing isn't available.
Expand it. Yeah. It would expand. It would expand its use. That's an interesting point. I like that.
So if you agree with that, go to Spectrum, find that post, vote it.
Vote it up. Okay. Fastcart, what did you think about the Liberator? I know you bought 3.
Yeah. No, I looked at it. I was like, oh, that's interesting because I have quite a few ships, and it would make it easy to transport the ship. More than one ship between places. I'm like, yeah, but I probably only use it like maybe once a month, if that. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to pass on it and just keep my M2.
Okay. Kai, I'm going to pull on you again with that military. They showed one of the pictures with this thing. It had 3 fighters on the top, 4 tanks at least inside of it. I don't know if it takes more than that. What do you think about this carrier as far as for orgs and people who are like maybe moving from a location to another location or setting up a base? Any thoughts on that?
When I saw that, I was like, legit, they just showed an LCAC. I am down.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the interesting thing about that. It has less cargo storage than the C2, but it can carry multiple ships, and it's only a 2 crew. Now, here's the thing. This particular ship doesn't sing to me as far as like, oh, I gotta have it. But I am so glad. I feel like the universe is richer for having it in there. So I am super stoked for it. I think it's a great call. I think it was a very and I've been saying anvil cap, sub cap, right in that range for a hot minute. Like I think it's awesome.
Okay. And it's a big ship. Go ahead.
Kaizen, think about this. It has less cargo than a C2, but if you can fit 3 C2s on it, fully loaded with cargo, you damn near got a whole C.
So you can hold 3 small ships on it. You can't put C2s on it. But
I think you did 2 or 1.
No, what they did was they showed the length of one the length of 3 fighters was the length of a C2. And that was the comparison that they had for it. Yeah.
But my man Gomab is not wrong in that there is a place for that in the economic landscape, and it's legit. I'm down.
Hey, that's how you get the Argo cargos in Quantum, baby. You know what I'm saying? Just load them up on there. Just load them up on there. And go and have them fan out like freaking.
Yeah.
I think if you could put 20 Argo cargos on it, that's legit the best ship in the verse.
Yeah. Let me double back a second. Younique, I think I forgot to ask you about the 100, didn't I?
Under what?
The 400? The 400i. Did I ask you about
the 400?
Yeah, I forgot to ask you about it, didn't I? Or did I?
I got one. I don't know why.
Okay.
I just promised myself I'd only buy one ship, and they showed it.
And that was the one ship.
The paint, so I got it.
Okay.
And then they showed me that thing. And then I kept thinking about my 2 carriers. How I was just going to tell people, yeah, bring it. I'm never going to say that now. You say bring it, and they start showing up with 10 of these, and you're in trouble. You're just in trouble.
Well, and that's what I was going to ask you. Now, you know, there's some ships to me in this game that I call them. We're going to be doing a show later on called The Specialist, and it's about people who pick these careers that are specialized, right? Like the person who wants to fly the SRV, the tow truck, right? Is this one of those careers, one of those jobs? Because I don't necessarily think a combat fighter is going to do this, but who are the people that would probably, because everyone wants to contribute in an org, who are the people that would end up getting a ship like this and using it?
All the people that don't want to get shot.
Okay.
There are helicopter mechanics.
And
truck mechanics. They're all in the back with the gear.
Yeah.
They're still in the service doing the job. It needs to be done.
Yeah.
But, some people want to be up with the bullets, and some people just fix the gear. Well, you break it, bring it back here. I'll fix it for you. You can go back and fight. So
Yeah.
You know, they're actually a bunch of the unsung heroes.
Yeah, yeah. You know, anything that I think a lot of people who I heard when they saw this, the word they heard was logistics, right?
Yep, logistics is huge.
Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of curious to see how orgs will use it, and then who are those independent, quote unquote, independent contractors out there, right? Like Fastcart, who says, I don't have one of these, but maybe this particular system I'm living in is starting to get a little heated. You know, pirates are starting to mess with people. I've heard about a new place I want to move. I've got 7 ships here that I need to get there. 5 of them are fighters, you know, and I don't want to deal with the fuel consumption, stopping off at base, blah, 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 blah. Let me hire, you know, Gomab Incorporated, you know, who I know owns one of these, and he's going to be the guy to do it. And I'm sure there will be some people out there who are operating that way as independents, but then you're also going to have, you know, organizations, I think, that are definitely going to be taking advantage of having these. Because you imagine seeing like 8 of these suckers coming in loaded up because the org is going to set up on some planet or moon. You know, that would be really cool to me. So
Phoenix Heavy Industry does have a Liberator, and it will be available for hire once the game is released.
You pass your business card out. You have to throw your business card out there.
It's a QR code.
Your QR code. Okay. Yeah. Exactly. I started doing that recently, by the way. I started doing that now. I started using Popple. Oh, I want to give them an ad. Okay. Anyway, let's
I have a question.
Yeah.
I have a question, though.
Yeah.
Do you think the crap? I forgot the question now. Go ahead. It was about the Liberator. Oh, do you think the Liberator is the wrong name for this ship? Because
you know, the other Liberator is a skin for the Valk. You know, they don't call the Valk the Liberator. You know, it's just the Liberator skin on it. I agree they shouldn't have done that. Why? What's wrong with this name? What's wrong with this name? What are you thinking?
I don't know. Maybe something moving wise would be better, but Liberator just sounds.
Was Sanford and Son?
On there. Huh?
Sanford and Son? Sanford and Son?
Sanford and Son, yeah, something like that, yeah.
Maybe it's moving, salvage and moving. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, Liberator. I know when you think Liberator, you would think almost, like you said, like maybe if it was a capital, like the Anvil capital ship, right? The Liberator. Right. That would kind of resonate. I get what you're saying. Yeah, it's an interesting name, the Liberator. But maybe
it's almost as if it started its life as possibly going to be a capital ship, but then they realized that they had an opportunity to fill an important gap in the.
What do you name it? Give it a different name.
Yeah,
that's legit. The only part of the Liberator I don't like is the name is a very famous bomber in the United States Air Force. So I'm like, that messes with my head.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But it's more about its function, you know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess that's how they I guess they have to look at it that way, right? Okay.
Showing up the Liberators in area.
Yeah, showing up with the showing up with the stuff to come set us free, I guess. Yeah. All right.
And I can see a pirate org and they're trying to take your base from you. They're showing up, drop 10 of these in there, and suddenly you got 40 tanks on the ground.
Yeah. Woo, scary. Okay, let's go on to the next one then. And then you all hold your applause for this one because Fastcart's going to lose his mind. Something that we all had predicted a few weeks ago was that we would see something from the Banu Merchantman, and we got it this time. That image on the screen right now is the original concept images, and everybody, I think most people who were Banu Merchantman lovers, including myself, were very, 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 very excited to see not only this ship, but to see that they had even given it a little bit more than we anticipated, not just in size, but just the way it looks, the features and everything. So let me start with Younique this time on that. Younique, give me your thoughts about the Bandit. We've been waiting on this. One of the earlier concept ships, right? From maybe 2014, something like that. It's been around for a long time.
It's been a long time, 8 years or so.
Yeah. 13? Wow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been a long time. So it's good to see that they're actually putting effort into it and trying to make it come alive. I like the materials on it. They adjusted the size a bit, but that means that they'll probably adjust the price as well for people who don't have it yet. So
yeah,
I'm just looking forward to being able to interact with aliens in the game, you know, without the normal interactions with just shooting all the time. So I like the idea that there's merchants and you can go there, and while you can earn your reputational rate to get one of these ships, you don't have to go through all that process for you to buy it before the game comes out. So.
Yeah. FC, talk to us about this. Is one of your favorite ships. You've been waiting on this ship for a long time.
Yeah, and I'm gonna get some help from a friend, so bear with me. So, Banu Merchantman. That's all I gotta say. No.
Okay.
There's one thing else I did say. You were gone at this point, but Paul Selly, and I clipped it. I was gonna post it in quick chat, and I put it in videos in a moment. But Paul Selly said that this ship, the Brandon Merchantman, is a very useful 890 jump.
Interesting. Interesting.
And he also said it's a very useful carrot too. But you want to take that up with Paul Selly, and not many people disagree with him.
So. You know, it's an interesting spin because, I mean, not to be funny, but you know, people have talked about this ship being a command ship. I've heard people talk about that beyond just for trading, and of course, people talked about the 890 being a command ship. I was amazed when they showed the what do they call it? This cross section of the ship, and you got to see some of the detail. Because before we didn't always have things labeled. Some fans had put some stuff together, but to see CIG put everything, I was amazed that there's a med bay in there. They talked about they showed that. Did you all see the part that said sanctuary? Because they've got an area in there for that. I mean, there's a lot of different things that were in here. And one of the things I really appreciated about this ship was, and we had talked about this too, whether there would be some symbiotic connection between the Banu Defender and the ship. And to see that they did find a way to put the hangar in. I always thought that maybe they were going to come up with something where the Defender's attached to the outside, because the impression that was always given is that they're there as escorts so that if the ship was ever attacked, they'd be able to help defend it. But as I mentioned earlier today, I always wish that they had made 2 ships for this, or 2 place hangars, similar to the Polaris. 1 fighter is one thing to me. I'd rather have 2 fighters defending any type of ship like this, or like the Polaris, but it's still nice to see that they did have a location. It's also another thing by the way, I am jealous about something, Spartan, in relation to the Banu Defender that I wish that they did with Origin ships. I love the fact that the weapons retract into the ship and that you don't see them. Because I think the luxury ship should be that way. The 890 is, but I wish that the 600 and all the other ones, that when you look at them, you see no weapons, and that doors opened up and they came out. That would be amazing. But I give it to the Banu. They did an amazing job on this. As many of you all know, they reworked it after they finished the character. Say they're going to go back, look at the old stuff, and see how it would come out. My fear was that, like the Carrack, when they did it with the Carrack, if you all remember, the Carrack grew substantially in size, and they actually pulled it back because it got too big. And I was a little worried that they were going to do something similar with the Banu Merchantman, because they had talked about it being smaller. The other thing was that the price difference in the ship for trading, where the privateer is running $1,700, if I'm not mistaken. This ship, well now, yeah, but it was $1,700. This ship came out at $250. That was a huge difference in price. And even though it's been increasing, it's $500 now. At concept, I agree. I think Kai or Gomab said it. The price is going to probably go up because it's still not flight ready. So some people believe the ship may hit $600, maybe even $700. I've heard people think even maybe more than that, depending on its functionality. Yeah, FC.
The other great thing about this is that, I mean, according to the updated spec sheet, it said that's 2,880 SCU now, and I'm very pleased to hear that.
Yeah.
As a marketeer and cargo person.
Yeah, that's a huge price increase. They did a beautiful design on it, and you can tell that they've been working on this whole design model from when they did the Defender. I love the exterior on this ship, and we even joked around about it when we were watching it yesterday. I said, "Ooh, it'd be really cool if those wings folded up." And sure enough, when they showed the wing animation, I was like, "Oh, that's gonna be so cool." So kudos to you folks who have the Banu Defender, especially if you caught it at the $350 price. Or the $250 price. Well, it was $350 at one point. $250 was the original. So if you got it at that price, you got a real bang for the buck when it comes to this ship. Gomab, what did you think about the Banu? We got to see some interior stuff, more than those 2-3 pictures we had all these years. What did you think about it?
I'm glad I bought it.
Damn.
Okay.
That's a flex. That's
good.
Flex.
No, I mean, the fact that it has literally half of the cargo capacity of a whole sea. It's got twice the luxury of an 890.
And twice the functionality.
And this functionality.
Wow.
with half the cost, you know, I got it for like a $25 SCU or CCU from a C2.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good deal. I'm happy I got it. No, it doesn't have a swimming pool, but that's all right.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll just pull up on my BMM next to your 890 and I'll come diving in.
I don't know. I've been playing this game a long time and I've not seen anybody actually swim.
You die. You die. If you get in the water, you die.
There's no swimming.
All right. Let's see. DK, let me jump to you. You know, we're looking at some of these older shots and now we're seeing the newer images of it. Did they deliver? Did CIG get it right?
I am happy, so happy for Fastcart, because that ship really does look beautiful. And I got to, luxury's subjective. It might be luxurious to some people. It might not be luxurious to other people. It's all subjective.
Literally red carpet.
Hold on now, but it is a beautiful ship. It is absolutely. I love the inlays that they did on the wings from the Banu Defender, and the way that they brought in that kind of a etched three-dimensional sketch into the metals and the flowing lines throughout the ship. It's absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. It ain't for me, but it is absolutely gorgeous. I will work on Fastcart's ship anytime you want me to. Come on.
Right over. Absolutely.
I'll bring Love Machines Botanicals. I got the botanical stall.
Who did not do, Kai or Younique? Who did not hit?
I can hop in.
Okay, Kai, go ahead.
This ship started at 250 and it has gotten quite a bit chunkier. They've added, it's now up to damn near 3,000 SCU cargo. It went from 4 stores to 8 stores. They have housing for people that are coming there to shop. It has so much. Now, this is just not my gameplay. I'm not interested in a crew 8 ship, but it has so much. It is so awesome, and I think it's going to be phenomenal. And I salute those people that got in on the bargain. I don't think it's going to go up to. It's now what, 500?
It's 5 now. Yeah.
I don't think it's going to go up to 550 or whatever. I think by the time this is done, we're not going to see this for another year. And by the time it's done, it's going to be up over 7 and worth the price. It's, buy it. If you have interest in this gameplay, I don't. But if you do, buy it now. It will go up a lot.
Yeah.
Can I say one more thing?
Sure.
I was thinking about actually getting 2 of these because I wasn't sure if one would be enough. After seeing the presentation yesterday, I'm like, I'm good with one. Thank you, CID. That's great.
Yeah, it's a nice ship. It's a big ship. I love the alien theme of it, and just some things that they said for those of you who may have missed this. We're looking at the pictures right now. They talked about that the items will be displayed. You have holograms. They'll be levitating. I mean, they're bringing a whole alien tech thing in, and they really made sure they emphasize this thing of using Xi'an technology. So, I think when you come into this ship, it's going to be just something to see when you come in to purchase and buy things on here. Yeah.
And real quick, Griff.
Yeah.
How much does the Prowler cost?
The Prowler was 400. It was 400 last time, if I'm remembering correctly.
And you get a Prowler in the BMM, like that right there is value for money.
Yeah.
The Defender is 220.
The Defender is 220.
The Defender, 220. Yeah, 220.
So if you're talking about a ship that costs $500, but you also get a $200.
No, you don't get it with it.
No, you don't get it. Yeah, you don't get it with. No. They were just showing that there's a hanger. Yeah, they were just showing that they put a hanger in. Because, of course, all the other shots before, there was never any way of knowing if it was just rumors. Yeah, they just kept talking about, the Defender will be there. And it's like, well, if it's in deep space, how does the freaking Defender have enough fuel to travel with it? Now we get it.
Right.
Now we get it because we see the hangers there.
It's like the 400i and the X1. The X1 comes separately.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
That is a very good, but wow, what a difference. Of an example, right? That you just a metaphor, like the X1 versus the Defender.
Well, yeah.
Call that.
Listen, I told you. The reason why I said this yesterday. The reason why the 400i only can take an X1. People are trying to cram their yellow jacket. They're trying to cram their Nox. we don't want the riffraff and we don't want to move from the 1%. So that's why only an X1 fits inside that ship. Okay, I want you to understand that.
People saying they can
Look
get
at
the other
Gomab's
one in
face.
there,
He doesn't. I'm pulling your chain.
People saying they can get the other ones in there, but only in the cargo.
Yeah, I know.
Here's the deal. People are talking trash on the 890 and being like, oh, look, the BMM is the 890, but better. No,
Yeah.
it's not. Here's the thing. The BMM is a shopping mall in space. It is 1,000 times better than an 890 if you want a shopping mall in space.
Mm-hmm.
The 890 is a super luxury, mansion in space.
Yeah.
So they're both better than the other at what they do well.
Yeah.
And there's no reason for either side to feel any kind of hate, because here's the thing. If you're rich enough that you can afford a shopping mall in space, I'm quite sure you have a crew on that shit and you are out in your yacht in space just chilling far away from the riffraff. You know what I mean?
By the way, did you guys hear them talk about them putting curtains at the entrance? That I thought that was like so cool. Where they were talking about where the door comes down, like they would be like a bazaar. I thought that would be so cool if they did that. But that's
can I hire an NPC like trumpet band?
Yeah, have it
to play the fanfare.
Play it out there when you come out.
That's my guest.
Yeah,
arrive.
why not? Yeah, that would be. I think that's doable, dude. I think that's doable.
I think
that's
Kai
doable.
would like a mariachi band.
Oh yeah, that would be cool when he come in. That would be so cool. All right. Let's see. My mouse is acting up, guys. Let's go to the next session if I can get my mouse to work right. Okay, sorry about that. I'm losing my mind here for some reason. I think this mouse is like 6 years old, so it's that time, Gomab. It's that time.
You gotta lick the bottom of it.
Is that what? How about that? We'll blow on it. Why is my mouse acting up for some reason? Oh, there we go. No, it's still not working right. Yeah, you guys, please forgive me. I don't know why my mouse.
It's been a night of technical problems.
I've never had to do this before. This is like acting crazy. Why is tonight like the night for everything? Oh, there it goes. Okay.
Is it a wireless mouse?
No, it's corded. I just disconnected it, so it's okay now. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into. Let's talk about these other ones. Let's see. We need to go to the next one, which was about let's talk about this one. This is the one on server meshing and the state of persistence. We can jump in on here a little bit. Fastcart, we've been hearing about the server meshing for the longest time, right? And we got one good piece of news that iCache was finally pretty much in. And we know at least in relation to inventory. So now players, if you haven't been in, guys, yet, trust me, screw your head on, because you're definitely going to change the way you play the game now. There's no question about it when you go in and deal with inventory. But now CIG seems like they're really getting a handle on this whole thing about server meshing. We even had some comments in relation to shards the other day. How close do you think we are to this now? Because we know that server meshing is going to be critical to two things: expanding capacity on servers, and also the fact that when we want to start going into other systems like Pyro.
Right.
We didn't hear anything about going into Pyro anytime soon, but CIG seems to be feeling really good about where they are with server meshing. So you can talk about that, or you can talk about persistence, whichever one you feel most comfortable talking about.
I mean, I just want to bring up, like, a few months ago, Tony G had another talk where he said iCache was largely complete, and I don't know at this point. I mean, at this point, they may just wait until the next CitizenCon to say, "Oh, iCache is complete 1.0. Enjoy."
No,
I don't know.
It's already in the game.
It's been a while.
Yeah. iCache is. I don't think we have to worry about iCache as much. But server meshing.
Server meshing.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
you meant server meshing. Okay. That makes sense. Okay. Gomab, thoughts? I know it's something you're always interested in.
Yeah, this is my main, interest in the development of this game. I am happy with how they're going about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going about it the right way. It's very ambitious what they're trying to accomplish here. And I know it's not something that's going to be very easy to accomplish through programming, right? there's a lot of moving parts, and you want to make the key is to be able to do it and keep gameplay smooth. Right, the transitions between boundaries of shards is going to have to be smooth, or they're going to have to put in something that explains the lack of smoothness. Maybe like, solar flares causes your screen to jitter for a few seconds while you're transitioning from one shard to another. I don't know, right? They're going to have to figure that out.
Do you think that they're going to try to actually push the technology to the point like how we don't have loading screens when we're going down to a planet? Do you think that maybe that's also part of what they're trying to do? Because that would be, like you said, unique in some way.
Yeah, I mean, so right now they're doing culling, right? Item culling.
Right.
So only things that are loaded into your client are things that are within range of you to get it to.
Right.
And so just like they can do the item culling is what's streaming to the client, they can also predictably determine which shard you're going to be in. When they do get a dynamic server meshing, they'll be able to say, okay, a lot of people are heading in this direction. A lot of people have set, Yella as their jump point or a Crusader as their jump point. We've got a lot of people coming in. We may need to segment this out, segment some spaces out here in order to make room for it, right? So they'll be able to do that.
Okay.
But you'll keep that smoothness. It's just going to be a challenging thing.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. Younique.
Yo.
Any thoughts about the server meshing or the persistence now when we do stuff in the game, it remains? We had some people yesterday, I think Ops Chief the other day had a hard crashed all the way out, came back in, he popped back right where he was left off at. Before, that was the thing of losing everything back in the day. And you've been around since those times, so you kind of know what the deal is with that.
Well, I've been watching them develop this the whole time, and it didn't make a lot of sense to me how they were going to get to sharding based on the explanations they had. But now, this time, they explain that they're adding in that other communications layer to go sideways between the things, and that's part of what helps you to get to sharding. So, with the culling system, whatever, I mean, all this stuff, believe it or not, is documented in game design books. You can just buy them right off the shelf. Pretty much everything they're doing. Not that I've read any of them. So it's all doable. I've done this coding before. The nifty thing that should be is there's only limited paths on where you can go. So if there are 3, say, solar systems you can get to as you're moving towards them, they can fire out initiators that says, hey, they might come to you, so they can have placeholders on all 3 of them. And then you jump to A, and then A can send out and say, okay, B and C you can cancel because they didn't come, right? So you can also free up those other things. So it just depends on how much coordination messaging that they do on that backbone, so they could pull this right off.
Okay.
Kai,
But
it's going to take a while still.
Yeah. Kai, any thoughts on what you saw, either in relation to server meshing or persistence?
Oh, yeah. I liked a lot of what I saw in this talk. First off, I thought, I mean, I'm not that bright, so Bruno and the Frenchman lost me through most of what they were talking about. But like, there was a couple of standouts that I heard that immediately keyed in my ear. The first thing was they said, blah blah blah, and this in 4.0, like legit. I feel like what we're looking at here is. Oof, I got to run from a bear. Sorry. What we're looking at is a situation of, I think we're going to see it go maybe to 3.18. And after that, I think we're going to see 4.0. I think that's the soft, low-key soft sort of announce that it's going to be 4.0 is going to be what replaces 3.19. Just a thought.
Okay.
I loved the part where they talked about, like, they took a realistic approach to it when they said, we're going to have, starting off, we're going to have dynamic server meshing. That's what we're going for. That's what we're going to get. We're going to have that for you. We're going to start off with static server meshing first, just to sort of as a realistic stopgap on the road to accomplishing that. I like that a lot. I think what we saw, that it was indicative of what we saw a lot of this CitizenCon, where it was less about flashy sort of exciting but abstract tech demo stuff and much more realistic. Here's what we're going to do. Here's where we're at. Here's where we're going to get to and how we're going to get there. And then the just the whole sort of, the whole thing of it, it seemed to me, and I'm an idiot. I'm a Marine in my underwear. What do I know? But it seemed much more to me like less pie in the sky and much more like concrete. We've got this, we need this, we need that. We'll get here by then. I dug it. That's all I got.
No? Kai, can I ask you a couple questions, Kai?
Sure.
First off, did you get away from the bear?
I did. I got away from the bear. Another guy died. Here's the thing. You don't have to be faster than the bear. You just have to be faster than the other idiot. I'm now fishing, waiting. And New World is great, by the way.
And my other question is, you said you don't listen to the Marine in underwear. Are you wearing boxers or boots? No, I'm kidding.
I'm actually wearing Calvin Klein boxer briefs. You ask, I will answer.
You don't ask Kai. Don't ask Kai.
I'll answer you. I will answer you.
Don't ask Kai. You already know.
Hey, never getting sponsors, Griff.
Calvin Klein
monetized.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dark Knight.
About it. It's just hot out here.
Dark Knight. Either one you want to cover, server meshing or persistence.
You know what? Gomab hit the nail on the head with server meshing. He understands that outlet going that, and persistence is. I hope they get it good. It's not good right now.
You had problems with it? The persistence?
All it took was 130K. Dude, here's a word to the wise. Do not put anything on your ship that you are not willing to lose. Anything. In fact, don't keep anything on your person that you are not willing to lose. A 30K will wipe it all.
Really?
So anything that, yes, and it will. Anything you put on your ship will get wiped in a 30K.
So we got to figure out.
You still have to claim your ship. You still got to claim your ship.
And you still got to claim your ship, and all your stuff is gone.
Even if we experienced, even if you call your ship and it's sitting on the pad and you haven't even gotten to the pad yet, and you recover from a 30K, you have to claim your ship when you get back into the game. In the past, you wouldn't have to claim your ship.
Let me ask the question.
I've had impounded.
Well, here's the question. When you claim it, are you at a different location than when you started?
No. Same location.
At your start point.
Always going back to the same location.
At your start point.
I make
your home. Your home. Okay.
That's my home.
Okay, that's why I'm asking. Because now I know that you have to, no matter what now, once you leave your home, all your ships have to be, claimed to be brought wherever. Like if you go to Port O, your ships aren't available in Port O. You've got to claim. You got to bring them in. Okay. All right. I just want to make sure.
I would suggest don't claim them, because if you have anything that's of value on that ship, say you left your ship over at Area 18 and you go to Port O and it's your Star Run or something, and you've got a couple things of items in your inventory. Don't claim it.
Well, let's say that. Let me put a spin on what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but I think right now we need to do it because it's in PTU. Okay. Because it's in PTU. Right. I'm saying because it needs to be fixed. It needs to be fixed before it goes live. Is my point. But I hear you. I hear you.
But the other part is it's the 30Ks.
That's what I'm saying.
30Ks and crashes.
I hear you.
That's the biggest part.
Okay, and some people have them. Yeah, some people have the 30Ks. Some people don't. And I'm just saying. I know we can't control 30Ks. But my point is we need to definitely make noise about it, because it doesn't need to go live if that's what's happening now. That's really funky. That's really funky.
But can I just point out that if what we're talking about is PTU Wave 1 early build, that's kind of known for 30Ks. They normally work that out through the life of the PTU.
But I'm worried about the persistence dynamic of it. The persistence part, right?
Persistence, right? Yeah. And that's the thing. If you're 30Ks and it loses, the server loses all the data.
Yeah.
So it doesn't know that your ship has inventory on it.
And the iCache is supposed to retain that.
iCache does not work. So right now in the PTU, I hope that it gets fixed before it goes to PU, because you're going to have a lot of pissed off people who load up their ship with water and food and their guns and their weapons and everything else, and then they go out and leave the station and boom, 30K and all of it's gone.
Well, you got a lot of people vouching for you, because I'm looking at Scuba Steve, Vaughn. A lot of people are saying that they've had the 30Ks hit them. And it's always interesting to me. There are some people who go in who don't get them. And then there are some people who do. And it's not anything in particular, it seems like. They'll be able to nail down as to why. but I'm glad you're letting us know about it. So at least if nothing else, mentally you're ready for it. Because I think the other thing is
Mentally,
the mental shock.
ready.
You know, the mental shock is probably the biggest thing. But no,
don't put your subscriber stuff on the ship. I mean, now I'm serious though.
No, I get it. I get it. No, I get it. I get it.
Don't do it.
No, dude, I get it.
Your subscribers.
No, trust me.
Hold on. If we're gonna talk about subscriber stuff, though, I wasn't gonna bring this up, but since we're talking about subscriber stuff, let me just point out that if you happen to be playing in 3.15 PTU Wave 1, there is subscriber flare and like special Xenothreat mission stuff and other stuff that it just happens to be available for looting out in the world. That's fun.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Well, we were running around the other day, and Jade said she was running around in a place, and people were dropping stuff on the ground because they weren't used to the whole inventory management thing. So they were just dropping stuff, and you could find stuff, you know, the people, because they didn't realize there was some stuff they just couldn't carry, which is just hilarious, you know.
I'm talking about if you go to the locations, the new locations where it's like, here's a little town somewhere, and you're looting chests. They populate it. Now, I don't think that that's going to be a thing that happens when it goes live, but just for funsies, because they want to test, and they want everyone to go test the looting atmosphere or the looting loop. They put in really cool stuff in there for fun.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Now,
it's on that, you know, persistence thing, right? I think, you know, they'll get that worked out. I do like JJ 2078 says, you know, claiming your ship gets you a new ship. It doesn't transport your ship to you, so to speak. Right. So maybe that's something they need to add onto the ASOP terminals, right? Either you claim it or you get your ship transported. Maybe it takes longer, something, right? You know, they may need to add that.
They made that comment that they were going to have where you pay and get your ships transferred.
Yeah.
But you'd have to wait like a couple of days.
The second thing that people need to be aware of that kind of ruffled my feathers a little bit, you can, if you buy a ship component at a station, and mind you, the only place, like, if you're like me and every PTU, you go out and buy XL1s and TS2s in order to make sure that your quantum drives on your ships are upgraded. If you buy the only place you can buy those at now, by the way, are Orison. You cannot buy them at New Babbage. You cannot buy them at Port Olisar. You cannot buy them anywhere else but in Orison. Once you buy them at Orison, they are in Orison's inventory. Your inventory on Orison. So if you set your home point to be New Babbage, you now have to either claim all your ships to Orison in order to install those quantum drives on there, or you have to fly them there. And if you got a C2 with the stock quantum drive, if you start in there, if you start now, you should be there by Tuesday.
Damn.
Remember I said earlier, this whole new inventory thing is going to change the way we play the game. So all I can tell you is go in understanding that, and maybe have a few drinks beforehand so that you can get yourself ready, because it is definitely changing the way we play the game. The inventory management thing takes a little bit to get used to, and I'm glad that GomAB mentioned that, because I did my normal routine at ArcCorp, where I usually buy all my gear when I start up. I get all my gear, and then from there I fly to Porto. So I got all my stuff. I was excited. I put on my flight suit, and I went and got in my ship. I wanted to try out the 400. I said, I'll fly the 400 to Porto. I fly, I get to Porto, and then I get to Porto, and I'm like, oh man, I don't have my helmet. I didn't put my, next thing you know, I hit my eye for inventory, not Moby-Glass, eye for inventory, had nothing on me. Nothing other than my flight suit. And that was because, as GomAB said, when you purchase stuff, it's at that location. It was still at ArcCorp because I had not put it on my person. So make sure what you carry on you is what goes with you. If you just buy it, it's at whatever that location is. So just understand that. I got a good one
for you. I got a good one for you, Griff. I was flying around and the game crashed, and it came back in the ship or something, and I didn't have a flight. Oh no. I tried to put a flight suit on, and somehow it didn't actually go on. It went into a box.
Oh, the box,
I couldn't open the box. I couldn't loot the box. I couldn't equip the box. I couldn't do nothing with the box except kick it around in the deck. So now I don't have a flight suit. I can't land on the space station because I can't get out of the ship. I gotta go all the way back to home station, all the way back to Area 18 to get a helmet.
Dark Knight, I got a fix for you. Ready? Get yourself an 890 jump, and then you got a docking collar, and you can walk in style.
Hey, the 400 has a docking collar.
Oh God, yeah, right.
Man, I swear to God, that was just. You gotta carry multiples, man. Carry multiples. Carry at least a flight suit and a helmet in your ship.
Yeah, definitely. Yep, definitely keep them in your ship. Yep, absolutely. When you buy your flight suits, some guys buy 2 or 3 right off the bat, and put them in your ship. One on you, one in your ship, and maybe one in your hab on the station, wherever you're at. Right. That way, no matter what, you can always have access to them. Very good advice. Okay, let's jump on to this next one, guys. We are running so behind. I know it is a lot to cover. I agree 100%. I agree. Let's
do a giveaway.
Yeah, let's do you hitting toward a giveaway that we should do? Okay, maybe we will. Let's see. These people are so nice to be with us tonight. Let's do this one. The crafting worlds. This was and planetary tech. Let me start out with Younique on this one. Younique, over the last few years, we've seen them increasing this whole thing with planetary tech. We're on version 4 right now. People have always raised that question about, how will Star Citizen remain fresh, right? Because you and I both know back in the day when we first saw the Connie back in 2014-15, we thought it was the most amazing thing. You go back and look at the Connie now, it looks like, you know what I mean? This looks like something from the 1990s or something. It doesn't look the same. And even with the environments, right? The planets, the moons, all that stuff. What do you think about this? Because they spent a lot of time working on tools, and people didn't understand why tools were so important, right? Because we're so used to people just kind of handcrafting stuff, or what's it called when we generate stuff? Procedural generation, right? But they've put some real work into this thing with tools, with being able to lay down bases or landscapes, everything else. So any thoughts on that?
So their vision is to be able to spin up a planet or a moon through the procedural capabilities of the code, but then to handcraft zones within it. So to spin up a new solar system, 4 planets, 12 moons, 1 or 2 suns, and then have locations that the players can live at, fight at, do all those nifty things in a reasonable amount of time, say 4 weeks or 8 weeks, once a quarter there's a new solar system. To keep the game expanding, they need these kinds of tools that interact with their unique environment. It's the most unique. So take No Man's Skies, right? Everything is built out automatically, and then so inevitably you're going to see a bunch of repeats, right? Eventually you just see it. Just humans are very good at seeing patterns. So the randomness that computer software generates, so their handcrafting is what helps break up that redundant pattern, even though it's quote random. Okay. That's what's going to make it special. So they need things in order to be able to keep the speed up in which they can churn out new content in a reasonable amount of time to keep everybody's interest.
Interesting.
So I like it. And the tools are getting better, so the whole life cycle is getting faster, to production. So
okay. Dark Knight, planetary tools and tech. What you think about it so far?
Yeah, Younique hit it right on the nail on the head with that one. Is that they're building these tools out to continuously be able to put in more content, and especially when it comes to planets, it's a lot of work. There's a lot of variations in different different texturing, different biomes, many different things like that. And then when you're trying to put together, say 50 systems, keep it small, 50 systems. To spin each one out is going to take time. And if you're trying to handcraft every single planet that you're doing, it's going to take you forever. But if you have a system at least start the process and get most of the process together for you with the different types of mesh and the shadings and shaders and things, everything that would go to making the planet, and then put the handcrafted items in and arrange them where they needed to be. It makes it much faster to do. You know, it's kind of like and I don't take up too much. Elite Dangerous in a way, when you go into a system, if it has not been explored yet, it takes the calculations from the star base, or what the star actually is, how old is it, what type of star is it, and it has all of that data wrapped so that when it does generate that system, it knows that, okay, this type of star would produce this type of atmosphere on this type of moon, and so it needs to have these types of textures. So I could see that happening with this when it comes to building out the different planetary tech, but now we're adding in the handcrafted material on top of it, just like Younique mentioned.
Nice. Let me give a shout out to the Westerator and Much Bolder. Both of you all, thank you all for the follow. Whammo says thank you for the follower. We appreciate that. And also to Big Black Gaming with the resub, with the Prime sub. We appreciate that. Whammer, thanks for that too.
Thanks for the subscription.
And then Oscar Winterman. I love that. I was going to say Oscar Wienerman, but Oscar Winterman. Thank you. Thank you for that follow. We appreciate that. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. This whole thing with the planetary tech and tools, I'm thinking the same thing you all were saying about how quickly this will allow them to churn out stuff. Kai, I want to come to you, and then I'm going to go to Gomab and then FC. Kai, from talking to you and talking to many of the people in the Elite Dangerous community, one of the things that I was not aware of, I've learned so much from listening to you guys. One of the things I learned was, and tell me if I'm wrong, because this is what I heard, was that there were people who had been working on the engine in Elite Dangerous in the beginning, and many of them over time, those original people aren't there anymore. And so, and like a lot of companies, right, people rotate out and everything else. But in some ways, there are people who believe that because those people who really understood the engine and knew how to use it are gone, that's had impact on the development of Elite. And my question is, did CIG in somewhere else kind of protect itself, give itself a little protection by creating tools that allow anybody who comes on board to be able to do the work that they want to be able to do in the future? So it's not so dependent on people knowing the engine as much as it's that they provided the tools. Now, there's some other reasons why tools will be good, and we can talk about that later. But I'm curious as to maybe, is that something that maybe has helped them so that somebody can come in who maybe just started last year, but they can kind of get spooled up real quick and learn how to create these worlds and not have to be kind of held back from maybe not understanding the historical past of the engine and all this other stuff? I don't know, maybe I'm talking outside of my neck, but I'm just kind of curious. What do you think?
I mean, I don't know about all that. You need somebody smarter than me to really answer that well. I can tell you, I think there's, to me, it's very fungible when you talk about, oh, this is a tool or this is an engine. It's all the same. It's a thing that you created to make the game that you're making. I think the difference, though, with CIG versus Frontier is I feel like Frontier made some very smart, very clever, very calculated shortcuts at the beginning of the process, and now find themselves painted into a corner, whereas CIG took, love them or hate them, you can criticize it or you can praise it, they took no shortcuts. They did everything intellectually honest from jump. And as a result, they're now, I think, it took them much longer to get started, much longer to get to where they are. But where they're at now, they are much more agile and able to move forward without, like, everything Frontier seems to do is like, oh, we're going to take one step forward, that broke 10 things. Whereas when you build it all on a strong foundation, like it seems CIG is doing, every step forward is one step closer to your goal. I think this is the one, correct me if I'm wrong, did this one, I know this one included the riverbeds, this one also included the base building stuff, or that was the next one?
Is that part of this one?
They showed the base building stuff in the first one with Life in the Verse. There's some of it here with the Rastar. Yeah, the Rastar was in here. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
There we go.
I thought this talk was great. I only got, one out of every, like I only got a fifth of it.
We get it.
But
yep.
I thought it was fantastic. I love the sort of where they were showing the different types of the river thing and all of the stuff with the different sort of. I thought it was great. I think that there is definitely a value to having the fundamentals built and doing it in order as opposed to taking shortcuts, because shortcuts leave you painted into a corner. That's it.
Yep.
Okay.
And my last observation is, hey, how is it that Gomab and Younique, they, I think, worked ahead of time. They collaborated with each other. There was some collusion because Younique just changed his stuff because they for a while there they had the same ship up in the back of them. They both had the 400i, but Younique just changed his thing.
I got the special paint.
Oh my god. Gomab, can you talk a little bit about what are the benefits to building these tools outside of Star Citizen? Is there some benefit for CIG in the sense of a business model for other games, or is it something that is exclusive? I mean, what's there, how can these tools be something to go just beyond, building worlds for us?
Well, yes. So part of the benefit of CIG building these tools is, it's to benefit their relationship with Amazon, right? The CIG is going to make great money on this game, but they're going to make more money licensing these tools back out into the market, specifically to Amazon in their deal with Lumberyard, right? We know that. So, the Amazon is providing the underlying engine as well as the servers that the game is running on, and CIG is developing the game development tools that, games like New World are being developed with, right? So it's a mutually beneficial relationship. Now, I will say to Kaizen's point, you said CIG didn't take any shortcuts. I have to disagree on that. And even they even said it on, I don't know if it was during our Bar Citizen or CitizenCon, but it was kind of like they say, yeah, it's kind of like we have to put the skeleton back into the body, right? Like where they're building out, like they're trying to build out these fundamental underlying systems where they probably should have done that before. My analogy has always been that Star Citizen is like a bodybuilder, the biggest bodybuilder you've ever met that has never been to leg day. It's very, very huge up top, right? But it's walking on some twigs, and if you blow it in hard enough, it'll just fall over. So, but right now they just discovered leg day. And so they're like, hey, we're doing squats, we're doing calf raises, we're doing all these good things to kind of prop this thing up, right? But in the meantime, I'm like, well, get off the bench press because you're just getting heavier up top while you're trying to build these underlying systems. So yes, they did. The steps that they skipped were they went for the pretty, because but it's understandable because that's how they paid for the development, right? This was not backed by a studio. They didn't have they did have investors, but they didn't have, huge amounts of seed funding from outside. Say, hey, here's $1 billion, go build a AAA game. So, while I understand it, yeah, I do,
It's interesting that you would say that, Gomab, because in a way I get it. I'm not sure if I agree, but I get it because maybe I do agree, because it is interesting. How do you sell a product, right? Because in general, as consumers, we need something visual. You can tell me all the theory of what you want to do all you want, right? But the theory isn't we can sell the vision a little bit, but having something tangible, whether it's like you said, the visuals or the graphics, is really the thing that drives a lot of us, right? Even though a lot of us do enjoy the vision and the possibilities of what can happen. But the problem with that is that in the gaming industry, depending on how, this is the thing I think why so many people are resistant to what's been happening, not you, but other people, is that in the gaming industry, we've been very disappointed when we try to solo on vision. You know what I'm saying? Because people will tell you, oh, this is the next greatest thing. We're going to do this. And then guess what? The company fails, right? Or they don't deliver. Or when you get it, you find out all you were looking at were cinematics, right? And none of the stuff that you thought was going to be in the game was in it.
Or it becomes a cyberpunk.
Or yeah. I mean, and that's even more recent, right? Even the big name corporations that we've trusted and loved for so long, even they have failed to deliver recently. Before it was just kind of like those startups and indies, but now big names are failing. And so in a way, there's a bit of cynicism within, you know, the gaming community, and some of it's rightfully should be there because the industry has created that. But at the same time, yeah, how do you get the money and the funding and everything else? Because if we just sell it on theory and, oh, this is what we plan to do, but there's nothing visually there to make it happen. I mean, a lot of times people will talk about the mechanics, but until the mechanics are even developed, I agree with you to a certain degree. It's the consumerism. It's the sell of that trailer, you know, of the possibilities of what can happen. There's no guarantees, but man, that 600i looked good when it flew across the screen. You know what I mean? And that's what got me to buy. You know, it wasn't because I played the game and saw all that the 600i could do and I bought it. I bought the 600i because it looked good and because of the possibilities.
Yeah, I understand why they did it. Right? And to your point, I don't see, based upon what they're trying to accomplish, right? They're not just going out and building another, you know, open world AAA game, right? Where a storyline is on multiple rails, right? They're actually expanding the possibilities of gaming into a whole other realm that no other game is even attempted, right? So, you know, and they're doing it crowd funded. So they had to do something different. They had to keep the people engaged. They've always said, hey, look, if we didn't have to maintain the PU and satisfy the test base or the player base that treat the PU as if it's a released game, I swear the folks are so salty. But you're in an alpha of an alpha. Like, you're not even it is a tech demo at this point that you get to play around in and tell them what's broken. You're mad. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that they have to, like, you know, rock those babies to sleep every night, it slows down their ability to actually develop and work on the game on one side, but it also the feedback, as salt covered as it may be, also gives them insight as to where they need to focus. So it's you know, but all in all, it does, you know, they did have to cut some corners in order to make this what it is today.
FC, it's on you, and then we're going to go to the next one.
I just want to say to Gomab, some of us have bad leg game because some of us have bad legs. So that, the upper body is all we can focus on. So I'm just gonna just say that, okay?
But I mean, when you're a Greek god like Fastcart, you get by on just your upper body.
Well, your legs are just wheels. You know what I'm saying? Just look, your legs are wheels, and your wheels are strong.
And they're stronger than my legs, probably too. Yeah, for real. All right. Okay, let's go ahead and hit this next one. Of course, my mouse wants to work act crazy now. Let's fry our brains with. You know what? I don't know. Boy, we're really running late tonight. Why is my mouse acting up?
This might have to be a two-parter, Griff.
You know what? Yeah, I know. Should we just do that? I mean, should we just do that? I mean, should we just do a two-parter? What do you guys think? I know we've got like a nice group of people here tonight.
Tonight's like tomorrow's a holiday, so I'm like, we can do a two-parter, but we can also call it whatever you want.
Yeah, man. I mean, Kai, not to be funny, man. We did the Bar Citizens Friday. Oh, it's been a long weekend. I'm gonna leave it up to chat. Chat says, "Let's go to sleep." I'll be saying, "Let's go to sleep."
All right. Can I point out? Yeah. I want to point out one thing, please. If we're going to end it early, and I'm down to whatever, but like, I want to point something out because I've heard a lot of stuff on Reddit, on the forums, you know, Spectrum, whatever. There's a lot of salt about this CitizenCon, and there's a lot of people that are like, "Man, we didn't see whatever it is." I want to say something. This CitizenCon to me, would I have liked a little bit of more sizzle? Would I have liked when at the end when they threw it to Chris Roberts and he was saying his goodnight? Would I have liked one more thing? Okay, yeah, but I thought this CitizenCon was exactly what the project needed, because this was not sandworms. This was not, we're going to throw you huge sizzle and hype for shit that is questionable as to when or where it'll ever get there. This CitizenCon showed that the project has matured to the point where they're showing you, here's what we got, here's what you're getting in the next 3 months, and here's what we're looking at in the next year. It was constructive, it was concrete, and it was showing you, like, this game has moved past the vaporware tech demo part and into more and more fulfilled game loops and concrete actual gameplay. This game is growing up, and I thought that that was fantastic. So I just wanted to counter some of the I've seen, and honestly, the funny thing is, if you go on Reddit or if you go on the forums, you see people complaining nonstop about this sucked, this whatever. But the people that I've talked to in Discord, when you talk to, I think, the sort of silent majority, I think a lot of people really, really loved this CitizenCon, really loved the, you know, like, yeah, okay, maybe a little more sizzle, yeah, okay, whatever, but like, they weren't on stage with the crowd. This was a pre-record. They were doing, this is COVID, they were doing what they did, but like, I really thought it was good. So if we're going to call it for the night, I just wanted to take a moment to point that out, that it's like, I really thought this was legit awesome.
Let me go ahead, Matt.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
I was going to say, you know, there was one very big thing that was conspicuously missing out of a lot
SQUADRON
of
42.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's because something big
Yep.
is coming
Yep.
as far as an announcement.
Yep.
They didn't normally, they say, oh, this is where we're at with Squad.
Right.
They may have brought up Squadron 42 maybe 5 times, as if like, yeah, and this is going to be important in Squadron 42, but moving on. They did not spend any time talking about the game that Chris Roberts is moving to London to finish.
Yeah. Good point, man. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
We all noticed the thing, and people were complaining about that. It's like, good point, Gomez.
People need to think between the lines, man.
Yeah.
Like, look, if they didn't say anything now, it doesn't mean that it's gone.
Right.
That means it's probably closer than it's ever been, which, you know, by the laws of physics and time, that's of course. But, you know, but I feel like it's way more.
Yeah.
It's way more real. It's way closer. I think a lot of the stuff that we got, like the Liberator, man, you know, if Squadron 42 or systems and stuff, they got to have a way to move ships that may not include capital.
Thanks for the follow.
You know, just keep that in the back of your head. When people start throwing salt, they told you what they could tell you, and then what they were willing to tell you. They didn't tell you everything about what.
And a lot of the people that are complaining, like, they're the exact same people that if we had Sandworm, if we had like crazy weird hype of like, and we're gonna do whatever, and it was just something that wasn't tied to anything that we know is in the works. Those are the same people that would have just been like, here it is again, CIG just making shit up. This is all vaporware. But then when they do one where it's legit and concrete and by the books, and then it's like, where's the sizzle on board? And it's like, all right, like, complainer's gonna complain. Whatever. Have some haterade and chill out. Smoke a joint.
Let me say this, and we are going to wrap it up. And maybe what we'll do is on our Thursday night show, we'll finish off the next 3 sections, and we'll hit that, because that'll be an open community that want to come in. Let me say this. One of the things that's difficult about doing, and many of you all know this, over the last year with COVID, those of you who work and interact with people all the time, transitioning to this whole being teleconferenced, Zooming, and, you know, Microsoft things, all this stuff, right, has changed the way we've had to communicate. And unfortunately, by not having a physical convention, one of the things that for any of you who've been to a Star Citizen convention, or any gaming convention for that matter, you know that the interaction with people is probably 50% or more than the event itself. And so it is tough to do a virtual convention, because when normally you're at a CitizenCon, the level of interaction is not just what we see on the stage when we have speakers and panels, but it's also the dynamic of being able to talk directly with these people. It's the Q&A when people who've been backing can stand up at a microphone and ask a question, and right then and there, Tony Z responds to you, or Todd Pappy answers a question. It's afterward being able to walk up to Chris and not only get his signature, but spend 2 or 3 minutes or 4 minutes talking with him about something and him listening. There's all these dynamics that happen to the convention that is a bit lost on this. And so that personal side of it is probably the thing I missed most. As far as the information that was there, it was great. We mentioned this at the beginning of the show. I did miss seeing Tyler on screen, seeing Disco on screen, seeing the offbeat jokes. I even missed the flub, the technical thing that doesn't happen. That usually, but I'm talking about the one where we get the crash and everybody cheers. You know, before it was a crash and oh my God, now it's like, yeah, we got the crash. You know, I mean, all of that stuff that makes a CitizenCon really special are those things that for me were missing. But I will say this. Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, we talked about this on Paul's show a little bit too. They did some things different this year. We saw more devs than we normally see. There were a lot of people's faces that we had never seen before.
Not much diversity, though.
Not the diversity, but different faces, close not the same faces. Right. Exactly right. There was only one female, and there was little other diversity outside of that. But even outside of the diversity part, we did hear from different voices. And some of those people who spoke, you know, as we all know, I'm sure they had to do it on a volunteer basis because these people aren't necessarily public speakers and they're not, you know, they don't have all the charisma that Disco has, right? But being able to sit and listen to them and hear genuine, sincere developers talking to the community is something that we should not take for granted because there are a lot of games out there that don't have that. Amen, Kai? They don't have the devs talking directly to them where you can ask these really good questions. So, you know, we want you guys to kind of keep that all in perspective. Also, over this past year, they were still dealing with COVID. GomabATL, to your point, I agree with you 100%. I think we are going to see something because the silence has really been real recently. And I don't think it's just because they don't have something to say. I really know that Chris is trying to keep Squadron 42 as being something that is very, you know, it's like making a Star Wars movie, right? Everybody signs the thing, can't talk about it. And I think we're reaching that stage now. Beyond the newsletter that comes out, you don't hear anything. But we'll see. To start separating the two things. They're not Squadron 42 and Star Citizen. They're really two separate games, and they need to treat that way.
I just wanted to add to Griffin's point that in the beginning of the show, when you asked me about asked about to give this CitizenCon rating, it was really hard for me to give it a rating because I had to separate the fact that there wasn't the community aspect was missing. So I had to make sure I didn't weigh that against it by giving my 7. Because if it was all that included, I would have probably given it a 5.5 or a 6. But I had to separate that from my mind and remember, okay, this is just the CitizenCon and not the thing that I missed the most about the CitizenCon, which is the community, hanging out with people.
Yeah, watch parties helped. Watch
parties helped. Yeah, I mean, and usually that's what happens. Like, because even when it's in another country, that's what folks will do, and it does help. You're right. The interactions are there, and you can have fun with it. But let me say this to you: in 2016, for those who went to LA, will tell you that was one of the most disappointing conventions. But nobody who went said, "I wish I didn't go." Because we still had a great time when we got together with people, even though we were hoping to see that vertical slice and it didn't happen. At the same time, I would have not traded it for anything. Even though we didn't see it, we were still excited because getting together with the community meant that much. And I didn't realize that, how much it meant to hang out with the voices and the people that maybe I've been talking to for months or years online, and then connecting with those people, literally spending, even though at that time in 2016, Fastcart, the convention may have been 3 hours long total, but we ended up spending like 12 hours together at barbecues, at the bar, at Bar Citizen. You spent 3 hours at the convention and probably another 17 hours hanging out with people. So,
and in 2018, some of us didn't leave until they told us
you got to go.
We had to go.
You got to go.
3 a.m.
Yeah, right.
3 a.m.
when I figured out how COVID started.
It was 3 a.m. They told us, get out.
Yeah.
You ain't got to go home, but you got to get out of here.
Very true.
Wow.
Very true. Well, listen, thank you all for, especially those of you who are watching, thank you all for hanging out with us tonight. We started a little late because we had technical issues, and we are definitely past our normal time, but thankfully it's a holiday tomorrow for many of you. If not, thank you all for sacrificing and hanging out. We had a really great panel tonight. Dark Knight, Gomab, Younique, Fastcart, our special guest Kai Zen. All these guys are so smart, and they share such great perspectives on Star Citizen. So I want to tell all of them too, thank you, because it's been a long weekend. And yesterday, all of us put in a lot of time watching and rewatching the episodes so that we could try to talk a little bit intelligently about what we saw over this weekend. Fastcart, real quick.
Talked intelligently?
Yeah, you talked intelligently tonight. Yeah, absolutely. You did.
Oh my.
All right, so let's do this. Fastcart, next week, can you talk a little bit about the Bar Citizen? Because I'm gonna that this week. Tell folks a little bit about what happened this weekend, and then we can talk about next weekend if that's okay.
All right, so this past weekend, this past Friday, we had a Bar Citizen. It was awesome. We had, I want to say, about a dozen, well, at least 10 CIG type stopped by and said hello. We had I want to say we had like 77 people there all at once. And it was real fun. We went to different groups and had different discussions, and we're going to do it again on the 16th. I'm going to drop the information into Twitch chat, and it's co-hosted by sponsored by the Astropub, So Citizen, Tech SQUADRON, and Yacht Club BC. So I'm going to drop a link, click on it, and you have to it's above the character limit, but I'll do it in a moment. You have to register. And you're going to email. Make sure you keep the email in your inbox. Don't let it go to spam. Don't let it go to trash, because you'll need that to join us on the day of the Bar Citizen. That's Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. UTC, and we're going to talk about the CitizenCon.
Absolutely. Thank you. Let me go back to our studio image here. I was trying to bring up, and please forgive me, my mouse has just finally given up tonight. This has just been technical night. I think the gremlins are just all over the place here. Let's see if I can get this to work. I don't think I can. Okay. Anyway, I was going to show a picture. Maybe we'll do that on Thursday. But we had a really great time. Like Fastcart said, this is the most CIG people we had. I think Tyler said there were 15 people total that came through. We had some of the other devs that we don't often get to hear from. And even Disco stuck his head in for about 5 minutes just to say hi, because he was still working, prepping for the CitizenCon. But it was a really, really great time. And those of you, please make sure you register for next week. Please. And if trust me, if you came last week, you're more than welcome to register again for this week. Let's see. The other thing that we want to talk about is we had something also rather special happen this week. It was Fastcart's birthday.
Yeah! Happy birthday, Fastcart.
Fastcart celebrated another birthday. For those of you who don't know, Fastcart traditionally always celebrates his birthday just a couple days before the CitizenCon. And unfortunately, over the last 2 years, we haven't been able to get together and hang out with him. Usually folks get together, we go someplace and just cheer him on and wish him the very best. And we didn't get to do that. So we do want to say happy birthday, Fastcart. We didn't forget about it.
Fastcart.
We just want to tell you that, and somebody else wants to say happy birthday to you, so I want you to be prepared, okay?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Fastcart. Happy birthday to you.
All right,
Thank
so
you. I appreciate that.
You appreciate that? Okay. Instead of us singing, we figured we let Whammer do it, okay?
No, I just got to say, at the end of the last Bar Citizen, everyone sang off key and out of sync.
Mm-hmm.
That was the best send off of a Bar Citizen and a birthday I've ever had.
It was also the worst rendition of Happy Birthday I ever heard, but that's a whole nother story.
It was the best one for me. I appreciate it.
God.
I want to say, I love the community. Thank you.
That was truly torture was listening to that. Anyway.
I loved it.
I'm sure you did, my friend. I'm sure you did. Okay, so listen, again, this Thursday, we're going to probably pick up on part 2. I don't even know if there's an ISC this week with them coming off CitizenCon. So even if there is, we'll try to touch on it a little bit, but we are going to hit on the last few sessions from the Bar Citizen. Oh no, everybody's picture disappeared because I didn't have time to copy you guys over. I'm so sorry. But I will come back in a second. Yeah, and then this next Sunday is going to be our show called Emergency Medical Gameplay in Star Citizen. Wow, 11's Hanger, thank you so much for giving out that gift sub. We appreciate that. Thank you. And Black Dice, we didn't mention it earlier again. Thank you for that follow. Yeah, so we want to be able to have a conversation next week about emergency. There's new medical stuff in the game. You guys know about the whole thing that's popped up now with what's it called? Not Death of a Spaceman, but the whole thing with, you know, when you get, what's it called when you fall out and you can't get up?
Oh, the downtown.
Downstate.
Yeah.
Downtown. Yeah, downstate. Yeah, the downstate. Yeah, I went into the pharmacy and saw there were six drugs in there. I'm like, ooh, look at this. Yeah, there's all types of new stuff coming out. Your new what's it called? The tool. What's it called? What's the tool called? The multi-tool. You got that. Yeah, you've got the other gun thing, Cure Life. I mean, all this cool stuff that's in there that we got to go and have fun. Yes, thank you, Jade. And new missions in the game.
Those missions popping up.
Yes, so
those are popping up everywhere.
If you're interested in this whole medical thing and getting in there, and hopefully, even though PTU is at wave 1 right now, we would expect that this week, hopefully, it will move into wave 2. More people can jump in. But we can tell you it's a lot to think about, a lot about changing the way you're going to play Star Citizen, but for the better. It might seem a little brutal, but trust me, it's making sense. It's all starting to come together, Chris's vision. So just kind of keep that in mind, all right? Because Chris Roberts, what?
Chris Roberts said so.
All right, Chris Roberts said so. All right, so that's what we're going to do. All right, so...
I think Whammer's a little tired, man. His eyes
he look a little beat. So anyway, Dark Knight, Gomab, Fastcart, Younique, thank you all. Kaizen, brother, as always, buenos dias.
Yes.
We appreciate you, man. We really do appreciate you. He's over there with his new world having a ball.
Yep. Didn't chase my bears.
I know.
I'm playing New World, but I'm talking to the people on the greatest Star Citizen show in the whole damn verse, Soul Citizens.
I checked in the mail.
Yeah, we appreciate that. We really do.
Thank you.
All righty. So my understanding is that tonight, as I mentioned earlier, we are rating the man himself, Paul Shelley, the Astro Pub, who is in the process of doing his charity benefit for Doctors Without Borders. He's got another 7 hours and 12 minutes that he has to be on. So you guys need to charge him up and pump him up and keep him going. And again, if you dig what he's doing, feel free to support him. He's a great guy. Thank you all again for hanging out with us tonight. We appreciate you. And until we see you guys next time, as always, as we say, peace, love, and soul. Take care. Have a great night and a great week. And enjoy the holiday tomorrow. Peace out.
Yeah.
Nanu.